Hello, fellow followers, and welcome back to the Physical Media Show. And with me tonight, as always, is Tom and Runner. How are you guys doing this evening, night, wherever time it is?
I'm all right. How
Doing
about
all
you?
right.
Doing good, doing good. Little tired, but I'm up there. I'm doing good.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there. So how's it? How's I just asked you how's it going? Yeah, so what's up with you guys tonight? What do you got anything you want to talk about before we get into all of this? And I will say hi to the chat here in a minute because I was waiting for
and
something.
any, how was your Halloween, Greg?
That's fun. It was good, and I took the day and enjoyed it. I didn't really do anything on my channel or anything, and kind of enjoyed how some Halloween movies and the kids with the trick or treating and all that good stuff. So it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was partying over the weekend.
Yeah, I can't party like you young kids, so even though I'm sorry you look like Prince Valium from Spaceballs in your Johnny Lawrence costume.
You're such a dick. That dude,
Well,
that wig was really tough to
I
get
thought you did
right.
pretty good.
You had a pretty
Thank
good
you,
one?
Tom. I
I thought you
Yeah.
did
appreciate
pretty
that.
good.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
I did the best I can.
The best I can,
It's
man.
the best. But welcome to everybody in chat, deleted
No,
scenes.
I thought he
Glad.
looked just like him.
Yeah, he didn't look too bad, actually. I just like making fun of him.
Yeah, I know. Greg, like was like the first to comment on my Twitter post, and he's like, "What the fuck is that?" It's like, of course, Greg would respond that way. What a
It's
dick.
just, I had to laugh because I was like Prince Valium, but then he did look good
I
though.
I
Come
mean,
back.
like, well, I posted that thing because like I was like on my way to the party because it was at a friend's house, and it was a college party, by the way. So make it as you will, and I posted that. I took a picture knowing it would look stupid and be stupid. So and it was like the cheapest thing I can get because I already had the jacket that I bought months ago. I just needed the wig. I I used makeup to color my eyebrows, and yeah, that's it.
All right, it's
I
a
also
good,
I also bought a bandana too, of course.
cool, cool. But yes, that you actually did look good. If you guys see Runner's Twitter or something, go on there. You'll see his picture of him as Johnny Lawrence. But welcome everybody. Held to the chat, deleted scenes, or Orion Kayan, and Doug 1985 VA. Yo, what's up? And Cool Gamer, hello. And Anthony Draven, hail to you. Bill Barkley, glad you're here. Yes, we will be talking about that. Funny you bring that up, Bill. We will be talking about that very soon. Um, but we'll talk a little bit about the Superman stuff real quick, Tom, before we head in, because it just so happened the
Yes.
digital bits
While
kind
we were
of,
live, no less,
yeah, while we were live.
dropped the news that Warner will be doing Superman 2, 3, and 4 on disc, and we will be getting the Donner cut as well. So interesting bit of news there. Didn't say anything more than that, so I don't know about any other cuts of the first film. But if we're getting the Donner cut, I almost got to imagine they would do the extended cut of the first film in 4K as well. It would only make sense, and then that way they can do a box set at the same time and all that kind of business. So that it looks like April 23rd is what the listed price was on Amazon, and that's what Bill is speculating. But I trust Bill on that, and from what I heard and talked to the other people earlier, I'm pretty sure that's the case. So yeah, so we kind of got another confirmation on that. Let's.
That's nice. I've been actually waiting for
I
them
have a
because it's
I have a
go,
question,
go ahead.
real quick. You think they're gonna do a? Well, I mean, it's more than likely they're gonna do it anyway. But I thought I'd ask anyway. They're probably gonna do a 4K box set for Superman like they did for the Batman one,
I
right?
would imagine probably a
Yeah.
Best Buy Steelbook and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure they'll
Okay.
have a few different ones
No,
if I had
because
to take a guess.
remember that 4K Batman set that I showed with the four
Yep,
movies?
Yes.
Yeah, like I was wondering if they do the same for Superman. Because
probably.
Probably.
if they do that, I will buy it so I can put it next to my Batman.
I would assume so.
Yeah. I've been waiting for him because I'm a huge Superman fan, and I know everybody loves Batman.
Well,
And I've been waiting for the rest of the 4Ks, man. I've been waiting for the rest of them 4Ks.
I have a feeling they're doing all this 4K stuff for the Superman stuff because of all the hype with Black Adam and all that, and with its
Henry
cameo.
Cavill.
Well, these had to have been in the works for a while before this
mean-
other deal.
They
Especially
probably
considering
were.
what we talked about with Donner cut having to be pieced back together, and it looks like that's getting a 4K. So
but the timing is convenient as fuck.
It is.
It is.
That is true. I think that has more to do with there's just pure coincidence more than anything. Because for these to be out in April, they've had to have been working on them for a few months now, at least. The Donner cut is no easy feat. I would assume they maybe just saved the original files and found a way to convert them to 4K or something for the special effects. And like I had posited earlier on 4K for You, they probably just are reinserting all the stuff they're scanning in 4K from the negative into that. So, I mean, at least they probably had it categorized pretty well after the Donner cut, so that at least they probably didn't have to go far to find it.
Yeah. True that. Yes, Sean, it looks like the Donner cut is getting a 4K.
It does sound like it. Both versions. Yep, Superman 2. And that's where Bill didn't say in the report anything about Superman 1. It is getting re-released, though, I think. So I'd assume they're probably going to do the extended cut of Superman 1 as well. It would only make sense. If they don't, oh well, but
Yeah. If they don't, but I've been waiting for them because I love the
preferred version, though, is that middle. I call it the middle cut because we have the theatrical cut, special edition cut, and then the TV cut. The TV cut's 3 hours long. It's great.
Yeah.
But who has 3 hours every time to watch the movie? And the theatrical cut is just missing a few of those little bits that I love in that extended cut. So it feels like Donner went through and he said, okay, this is the stuff that's good and really should be in there, and the rest of the stuff's just excess bullshit.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I'm with you too. That's my favorite cut. Is like the middle there with the extended cut. That's one I prefer to watch. But I'm a huge Christopher Reeve Superman fan. Those are my movies, and I cannot wait to see the rest of them in 4K. Even Part 4 is as crappy as it is. It's still like just one of those where I just love to watch just for what they've done with it. But it's a good one, and I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It was the 3-hour cut. Brian Barth is the TV cut. Is the one we was talking about? Yeah. But that's basically it for that. I don't think I think I did a video on here, which I did do a video covering some of the releases, and most of what I talked about in that we talked on 4K for You. So I don't think there was anything else new that came up that we.
No, but there was something I have to correct from last week.
Okay.
Remember we were talking about Return of the Living Dead not getting any pins?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I was so stupid. It did get pins. They just weren't that great. I was not impressed by them. And this actually gets us to one thing we didn't talk about earlier because I didn't realize until the Interium that they had done it. But here's the pin set for Return of the Living Dead for those who are So not as impressive as I was hoping it to be. Sadly. Yeah, they're all right. But
they look all right. Yeah.
They Live is now getting a pin set with the fucking steelbook. Now, since I already have the other 4K version, so that would be the third one if I buy it. I'm not doing it. Sorry.
I'm not doing it either.
The steelbook looks cool and all that. I'm good. I'm good with the They Live I have.
That is the best looking steelbook I've ever seen from Shout. That's all I'm gonna say. That is a rad steelbook, and only because I haven't been like a huge fan of some of the artwork for some of the other steelbooks. When I saw that They Live one, I was like, okay, that one looks good. Like, I wish I can buy it, but I already have the 4K. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it looks all right. Yeah,
I'm triple dipping on that bitch. Actually, quadruple dip because I have their old Shout Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'm pretty good on They Live myself. It is a nice little steelbook look, though. But yeah, I'm pretty good with that.
Do you have the 4K? Yeah.
No, I actually just still have the Shout Blu-ray, so I'm pretty good.
Then you at least can benefit from getting this if you wanted to, but
I know, but yeah, that's true.
I already have the import plus the last 4K they just did of this, so I'm pissed.
Yeah, but I've been thinking about getting just a regular old 4K, but I'm pretty good with the Blu-ray. It plays pretty darn good, and so I don't know. Sometimes I don't, I think about upgrading. Sometimes I go, maybe not. But yeah, the steelbook does look good. But yeah, I'll have to think about it. That's a thinker for me. But yeah, that's about it on everything we covered. Nothing real too exciting coming other than the Superman ones. What I'm really really looking forward to. So that's about all that I got to say on that front. Yes, Victor Fontaine. He said same to you, Tom. He's not buying They Live Again. He got the 4K box set. He's good. Yep. But
Not
Runner, you
just for the
want?
pins, fuck that.
Yeah, just for the pins, and I
And
think
the
a
new
poster
Steelbook.
too. Right?
Yeah, and a poster of the Steelbook art, which I agree with Runner. It is pretty badass. It's one of the better Steelbook
Mm-hmm.
poster art poster arts they've done now for the original stuff. But it's not enough to sell it, not for that price. And to get the pins and the poster and the book and the
Yeah.
Steelbook, you got to pay $93 plus probably shipping. I fuck that.
Yeah. Plus, if you really look at that, if you go and just buy the without the pins and stuff, it's only like $20 less.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
screw that.
yeah. But Sean, you need to get on They Live. It is a great flick. It was actually made for a different time, but it actually plays very well today. It
Yeah,
works
does.
perfectly. It works
Oh
perfectly.
yeah.
I think you'd
Absolutely.
enjoy it.
Any other announcements?
Nothing
Um,
major, I don't think that we
yeah, nothing
missed.
major.
Well, let me look. I mean, like Shout had a few things. I
Yeah,
know.
we talked about the Dawn of the Dead and
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna pre-order
Yeah.
that immediately. As much as I
yeah,
like that
I
movie,
think
and
it
you
comes
guys
with the posters, all the
yeah,
special
just
things they
that.
got.
yeah, I don't really care about the posters so much, but I know you guys crap on me for liking that movie
I'm
or
gonna
whatnot.
get it. I'll get it. Even though
I'll
I
probably
did,
get it too.
I think I
I'll
fucking.
get.
I'm trying to remember. Maybe I didn't get that one in their shelf. So that's one that I don't mind getting so
Well,
much.
I have the Blu-ray from Shout, but I just assume that it's gonna be at my Best Buy, so I'm gonna wait.
I think I got Land of the Dead when they did those, but I didn't get Dawn of the Dead.
Okay. Plus
Because I have
think
a 2-pack with those two movies in it before that, so I'm like, I think that I was like, that version's good enough for me. I'm not gonna watch all the special features and shit. So
and it's interesting. So like the 4K, the only 4K you're gonna get is the unrated cut, and that's with the original camera negative, and the disc 2, which is the Blu-ray, that also has the 4K scan, is also the uncut, and then the third disc is the theatrical cut, but with a 2K scan of the inner positive.
which is weird because it's the opposite of what we got with Army of Darkness, and I only bring that up because it's another
Yeah, I know.
it's another Shout Factory title and Universal for that matter. But yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, I kind of prefer the unrated cut slightly more, just because.
I think that's the one they always released. Much like the Rob
Yeah.
Zombie
Yeah, I know. 'Cause
movies.
I remember seeing on Amazon that there was like a Blu-ray that Universal released that it had like a double feature of the unrated cut of Dawn of the Dead, 2004, and Land of the Dead, I think is
Yeah,
what it
that's the
was.
one I think I got.
So
Well, I
yeah,
got the
they pretty
Universal
much
version of it anyway.
like the unrated cut is the one you're gonna get on the 4K, but not the theatrical, which I'm not. I don't know. I think that's fine.
Well, we'll see. But
I'm not
there
too
was
mad about
other than
that.
ads like the Jackie Chan collection. They Shout also announced and
Oh yeah.
Freaky and
The
Yeah.
Wrath of Man.
Wrath of
with
Man, which is new. Yeah.
Statham.
Yeah, this is the one I have, but I did get Land of the Dead from Shout, but I didn't
Oh.
get Dawn of the Dead.
Huh.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
So yeah, I might pick up the 4K of Dawn of the Dead then.
I actually need to get Land of the Dead. That's the one I don't have.
I don't
I
have
love
Land
that
of the
one.
Dead either. I have almost every
Is that out
other.
of print now, or is that still in print?
No, I
with
think
Shout?
it's still available. I just have never picked it up for whatever reason.
I still want to get the original Dawn of the Dead on 4K, but it's so well. I can get it on fucking Second Sight because it says it was in stock on
I
their
say they
website.
did a re-release where it's not in the thick box. And
Yeah, it's a smaller version
I
of
don't.
it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it has the book and stuff with it. It's the only difference.
I really don't give a shit about the thick box. I can get the standard thing.
Yeah, I
that
think,
they got.
like I said, I think the only thing it doesn't have is the novelization with it is all.
Yeah, because I remember when I tried getting it from Amazon and they fucked me over and they gave me the Babadook. Oh my god, I was so
Yeah,
mad.
that's a horrible
What the
movie.
fuck? The Baba
The
Duke.
Babadook. That's
I'm like,
elevated horror. We don't like elevated horror.
I didn't even I listen. I didn't even know what the fuck it was, and
You
and
had
I
to
was
do the
and I
Scream thing, didn't you?
yeah, but like
Or was
no,
that
but
from
I
Halloween? I don't even remember
No,
anymore.
that's Scream
no,
5.
no, it
That's
was
what I thought.
Scream 5 because was what's her name? Tara was like, oh, I still prefer the Babadook or
Yeah,
something.
that's what gets. I don't want to go back into that movie because that we
No,
talked
no,
that
no, no.
just that pisses me off because it's like they're all trying to do Scream 5. Oh, look, we're celebrating the slasher genre Scream, but we're going to say that elevated horror is better.
Not only that, they say that the fans only care about the first movie, which isn't true. We care about
Yeah,
continuity and
exactly.
treating
Yeah.
the characters with respect.
Exactly.
All right, guys,
Um,
go watch the replay for the
yeah,
Scream
yeah.
Yeah.
stream whenever you can.
But
Let's get on this. Let's get on this wagon
yeah,
here,
let's get on this
because
wagon. I'm not sure which one has the Dead Reckoning truck in it. Bill Barclay, the
that
Dead
would be
movies,
Land of the Dead.
Land of the Dead. See, I haven't seen it
Yeah,
in a
because
long
the
time.
original title of Land of the Dead was Dead Reckoning.
Oh, was it? Oh, there you go. All right.
What?
Runner, do you want to go first? Let's go first. You pulling out the one I think you're pulling out?
Yeah, we're gonna
Pulling
show
out
that.
his
We're gonna
Pull it out. Hey,
We're
this
gonna
is PG-13. I'll
and,
let
and
you show
listen,
yours first because I
and
know yours
Am
is
I the only
different.
one who got the steel book? Or did
No.
Runner?
I got the Steelbook.
Go ahead.
So okay, so this movie that Greg and I are about to show, apparently Tom doesn't. That I guess that
Take
wasn't
my
one of
breath
the
away, Runner. Take my breath away.
Take my breath away.
that was the first movie. Damn it, they don't play that in
So
the second.
what?
Dun, dun,
Then
dun,
hold my hands through this.
dun. Highway
Way
to
to the danger zone. That's in the new movie. Yeah.
just to begin.
Yeah, thought I was watching the first movie for about 20 minutes.
Top
There you
Top
go.
Gun
I do
Maverick.
like the Steelbook, but I just
Yeah.
Steelbook's great, and it actually comes with the Blu-ray. That's why I bought it.
that's cool.
I
I
heard
just
the Blu-ray doesn't look very good.
It doesn't, but like I only bought the Blu-ray because I wanted to show it upstairs, like where the family can watch it, because there is a Blu-ray player up there and there's a 4K player in my room, so that's why I bought the both 4K and Blu-ray. See, yours only has the 4K
yeah, mine's just a 4K.
because
I went cheap on it, to be honest
Paramount,
with you.
yeah, because Paramount sucks sometimes.
You don't need the Blu-ray anyway.
Yeah, I
I
don't really. I really don't need.
I mean,
Honestly, I don't.
he doesn't, but I do kind of. Plus, I like the
Nowadays
Steelbook.
with digital copies, what the fuck you need a Blu-ray for?
Yeah, it's true.
I
I mean, don't get me
both.
wrong. I do like that, like the fact that there's a Blu-ray that can come with it. But yeah, with the digital copy, I don't necessarily need the Blu-ray anymore.
Listen, I have the Steelbook for the first Top Gun on 4K. I had to get the Steelbook for the second. Sorry.
I do that
I'm
too.
one of those, as long as they have the special features on the 4K, I say take down the price and fuck the Blu-ray.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
I mean, I do agree. I only bought the Blu-ray just so like my family can watch it upstairs.
They couldn't watch it digitally.
And I watched it. No, because I made my mom watch it, and she thought it was fine. She's not a huge. Well, I think she said she liked the first movie when she was younger, but she's like, oh, watching it recently or whatever is like, yeah, not the same. But she heard good things about the new one, so I was like, yeah, I do think you'd be surprised.
You're not wrong, Dan. You're not wrong. Continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Runner.
No, that's about it. It's good, great movie. But arguably the best movie this year. I know Tom's gonna say it's Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, which is a close second for me.
Prove me wrong.
You want me to prove you wrong? This movie, in a long ass, like, my God, like, this is like one of the greatest
Time's
theater.
up.
This is one of the greatest.
Shit, I explained it better in my review, Runner.
This movie is one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in a very long time in a movie theater on IMAX. It was just, amazing. I have the damn popcorn tin for the movie.
You're just telling me how much of a fan you are of the film. You're not telling me why it's better.
It is better. There's
No,
better
you haven't given me
dialogue.
one goddamn reason. If I was the Wolf of Wall Street, you failed 3 times now to sell me that pen.
I will tell you.
As a movie, I agree it's much better than the first film. As far as top films of the year, I can understand why most people are picking it. I'm just picking on Runner, but Beavis and Butthead's still better.
I'm gonna go. I have to say my top 3 movies are Beavis and Butthead, Afterlife, and Top Gun. That's like my top 3 new movies I've seen that I enjoy.
I was gonna say you're talking about this year or just new?
Just like the newest movies in general that I've seen. Was Afterlife come out in 2022? Or was it
came out last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
But like as far as like new modern movies I've seen, Beavis and Butthead, Top Gun, and Afterlife. That's like my top 3.
If you were talking about like modern movies, yeah, I agree. Like that is probably like top 3.
Morbius was glorious though.
It's Morbin time.
I still haven't seen Morbius and I want to.
Isn't it on Netflix now or something like that? I thought I heard.
It is on Netflix. I've been so damn busy.
Now, I will say I do regret not seeing this in the theaters. And I'm not a huge fan of Tom Cruise. I'm really not.
A little bit. I do regret not seeing a little bit.
Yeah, I regret it a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Tom Cruise. I like the first Top Gun. It's not one of my go-to movies. It's not one of my go-to movies. And I'll be honest with you, after hearing everybody talk about this movie or everything, I thought I was going to hate it. Because I was actually excited to see it, and then like everybody started talking about how great it was, how was this, how was that. I was like, oh, this movie's going to suck when I eventually watch it, and I did enjoy it. It was good. It really felt like it was a movie from the 80s and 90s, one of those old school blockbuster Hollywood big budget summer movies. That's what it felt like.
Over the first film, because here's my problem with the first film. The first film doesn't really have much of a plot.
It doesn't. It's like an MTV music video.
Things that happen. And I don't mean that in a sense like, of course, that's what a plot, But I mean, like, it doesn't have like a driving force to the movie. You're introduced to your characters. We're shown that Tom Cruise is a wildcat. Really nothing happens until his partner gets killed. And I remember I was making fun of Runner and joking about this. And this was even before I'd seen the second film. And I kind of already knew this about the movies. But then you have at the last minute the only time when actual plot or character development happens is when you have that crisis thing with Tom Cruise dealing with, the loss of Goose, right? So after that point, then you have this thing they get pushed into doing military wise that just comes up at the last minute, comes out of fucking nowhere, which I understand that's how these things happen. Right. But at least with the second film, you have this buildup and that's the driving force through this whole thing. And it is an actual story with a plot that goes forward.
It does.
It's not just like a bunch of things that kind of happen put into a movie. That don't really feed into the next thing necessarily. The only part that's what I was saying. The only thing that really has anything to do with anything else in Top Gun is when we lose Goose, because that's when Tom Cruise is like, having that, can I still do this thing when they need him the most, right? Like you needed that through the whole movie.
Yeah.
It should have been like they're getting ready for this thing, just like they did here. Which makes sense and makes the movie infinitely more interesting. Yes. I didn't feel like I was watching a music video inside of an advertisement for the Air Force and Navy. Right?
To be honest, Goose probably should have died earlier in the film in the first one.
Probably.
So, yeah. But I like both of them, and I really did enjoy the second one. It was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And
they should have had Tom Skerritt in there somewhere too. I thought they did him a little dirty.
I did think I agree with you on Tom Skerritt, and I think Meg Ryan got a little dirty. Did too.
No, fuck her.
Yeah, true. But it was kind of like, oh yeah, she's dead.
No, I hear you though. Honestly, though, I mean, considering she's mom, they could have at least had a cameo of her calling and saying, "Please do whatever you do, Maverick. Make sure you bring my boy home safe."
Yeah,
I would have been fine with that. Nothing wrong with that.
And whatever. Yeah, and we didn't even get like a picture of Tom Skerritt at all. I mean, you did get a flashback scene with Meg Ryan, but not even a picture.
Here's what bothers me about this, and this is why I say they did him dirty, because you're right. If it had nothing to do with the plot, which it really doesn't necessarily, fine. He doesn't need to be a part of the story. Jennifer, what's her face, Connolly, is playing his fucking daughter.
Exactly.
What the fuck? You at least gotta have that. No, a lot of people didn't put that together, right? Like, unless you're really paying a fucking attention, that's the girl he's talking about in the first movie. Like, why didn't you not at least have a barbecue or something, or him be at the bar or something? You know, just anything. Like, what the fuck are you doing? But anyhow,
I know they did bother. They did
I
do him
didn't.
dirty.
I didn't see that. I didn't
See?
see that at first.
See,
because you know they talk about in the first movie he got in trouble for messing with the captain's daughter. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the captain's daughter.
Yep, that's her. And they don't even bother to show a picture of
the first movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first movie in a while, to be honest with you. Last time
I watched them almost back to back, so, and I knew that going into it because other people had already told me, but like, because I knew from the character, whatever. But like, it's like, how did I was expecting at least something, or even if they killed him, you know, he could have been like, I'm sorry I missed the funeral. I really looked up to your dad, or something like that. You know, anything. Or like, oh, the last time I saw you was the funeral, or something like that. And then she just looks up at a picture of her dad at the bar, or something like that.
Right. I agree with you, because it was like, okay, you're doing the right kind of nostalgia here, but you're not giving us Tom Skerritt and what's up with that and stuff. And I do agree with you, Bill Barkley. I was just about to bring that up. Let's be honest, the final run they do is the New Hope run. It is. It's like he even says it's 6 meters. What's it, 3 meters in A New Hope? And they got literally in doing the same thing. But it's fun watch. It's fun.
You know, to be honest, to be a little meta, they should have just said it's a lot like the trench run in Star Wars.
They probably should have.
Just to be funny.
That was funny. Yeah, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did. I was excited to see it, and I really loved it. So
as much as mentioning that it's like the trench run in A New Hope would have, as much as that would have been funny, I'm kind of glad that this new movie took things a little more seriously, because like when you look at the first one, it's like it doesn't take itself seriously at all. But when you watch the new one, it's like it does. And I like it for that reason.
It definitely had a cohesive, but like what's his name? Dan Blackwood said it is a bit of like a 3 stories in one, but it does have a cohesiveness to it that tells a thorough story all the way through. And I've gone back and forth this in my head, because what do you guys think? Do you think Maverick should have died in that?
Honestly, I kind of thought he was going to.
Me too.
And I thought he was too. Yeah. To be honest with you, that's where my imagination got stretched a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when those two survive, I'm just like, okay, I could see. If I remember right from my recollection of the film, because it's been a couple months since I watched it. Like, what's his face? Goose's son would have survived, but I'm not so sure about Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that's
like, that's a little, because they pushed the whole idea that he might not even survive the fucking mission just because of his age at that point. Right. Like that's why they needed these young kids, is because they didn't physically they're the only ones who physically could handle the climb.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, here's the thing. While I was watching this in the theater, first time, because I saw it twice in the theater. First time watching it, when Maverick's plane blew up, I was like, at first I was like, oh fuck, is he dead? And I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, he can't be dead. And then you go to the next scene where he's just laying in the snow, and then I was like, I knew he was.
It was kind of cheap. It was,
but like, I think, I don't know.
See, I honestly thought how it was going to end was like they missed the last one, and he swung back around and just did a kamikaze. It was like I thought was going to happen, or to draw their fire or what have you. But it just I liked it. It was fine. I just thought it was like you kind of cheated out of that one.
But that's what because I really did enjoy the movie, and I like Last of the Truth. I would have been okay if he did die, because I felt like Miles Teller could have carried on. He could carry it on. He's got enough of the Tom Cruise and the Goose within him, and he's a pretty solid actor. He's no Shia LaBeouf. That's it's not like Shia LaBeouf trying to take over for Indiana Jones. So
I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it would have been a ballsy ending, and especially considering you would have ended with his funeral or whatever,
yeah,
And the
Well,
movie's
I-
called Maverick.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I like speaking of like Miles Teller, I would sort of compare him to Shia LaBeouf in terms of like some people like give you know how some people give Shia LaBeouf shit, like they think that he's not a good actor, but when you watch him in something that's good, it's like, oh shit, he's actually a good
It's
actor.
not it's not that, but I
No,
mean,
no,
come
no,
on, do
no,
you
no, no,
really
no,
think
no, no.
Shia LaBeouf could have held Harrison Ford's whip? Come on, and at least
No,
Miles Teller looks like he's somebody who could
no,
be a force to be reckoned with.
no,
You know what I mean?
Greg, you didn't let me finish,
Go
damn it.
ahead. I'm sorry.
So now I'm gonna compare it to Miles Teller and some of the shit he's been in. Like look at Fantastic Four. He did not get a good rap from that movie, or
That's true, but that's
whatever that's called. No, but then you watch him in Whiplash, and it's like, oh shit, he's actually a good actor in this movie. And then you watch him in Top Gun Maverick, it's like, fuck, he's great.
Yeah, I'll admit up front, I was not sold on him playing uh, Goose's son because I'm like, he didn't look anything like Anthony Edwards.
yeah.
And then all of a
Well,
sudden, you see him in the movie, you're like, holy shit, he looks like Anthony Edwards.
I know. I wasn't.
It does.
I remember hearing he
I don't
was
know
in
what
the
they
movie.
did. It's just how he just held himself or what, but I know he's Miles is a passable actor in my opinion.
Yeah.
I've never had an issue with him. The only issue I had with him is when he was in Fantastic Four, where he was miscast and it was a horrible director and a horrible story, and you put horrible in front of it. That's what it was.
Yep. He did look a lot taller than even
Oh yeah.
because what's his name wasn't very muscular.
I was
Goose,
surprised they had him around so many young, tall people.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Most people look taller than Tom Cruise.
It's true. It's true.
I'm taller.
Well, that's because Tom Cruise is a midget.
Yes.
Yeah, he is.
But I would honestly, I would have been fine if Tom Cruise Maverick did die in the movie and Miles Teller kind of took over as the next Maverick. So, but he wouldn't be Maverick; he'd be Rooster. But he had
that's
that.
the thing. I hope they don't jump into a Top Gun 3 now all hastily, because I think that would be a big snafu. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they couldn't do a spinoff, but at this point, I think that's where it should have been a pure passing on of the mantle, like you guys are saying, where Tom Cruise. Because let's face it, in all these movies, I've always expected these characters to die, because Logan did. We expected Rambo to die twice.
Yeah, I did.
Both times he surprisingly lived. And yeah, so like at this point, I'm like, this is one of them where I kind of expected them to keep him alive, because people kept talking about another one. So that was kind of a spoiler in that respect. Because I knew if nobody was talking about another one, then people were just keeping it to themselves, but they knew, that would have been a dead giveaway.
Right.
But no, at that point, it's like, what fucking else can you do? And I don't know if Paramount or Tom Cruise is going to really be that stupid to try and pull off another one of these so quickly, because I don't think it would work. I really don't.
Watch him try to do a Days of Thunder Part 2. Just move on to that. That's a
better idea. Something else like that makes more sense. I mean, even that's tempting fate, but at least it's not tempting fate as much as a Part 3 right after the second one.
I wouldn't be too excited for a sequel to Days of Thunder. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe if you got that same exact like crew back together, because Top Gun and Days of Thunder are both Tony Scott films, and Top Gun Maverick kind of felt like it was shot by Tony Scott.
Well, this movie is kind of an end. This is the thing that I was getting to, is like, because there really isn't much more of a story to tell unless you kind of follow Miles Teller, and even then it's loose, because we're at a point now, and that they kind of make that point in this movie, that the drones are kind of taking over, to where these guys are almost like the last of this kind of thing. So it is kind of the end of this era with this movie. Because from here on out, a lot of wars are going to be fought with drones.
Yeah. And honestly, I thought that's sort of where the story was going to go at first, was like it was going to be these guys versus the drones, to show you how the human pilot is better than the drones.
I thought so too, but they just I think they kind of shortly made that, if I remember right, they made that argument for about 5 seconds and then got past.
With Ed Harris right in the beginning, and then that was over.
So, yeah, I mean, really, from here on out, what do you do? And to me, that just... I think this kind of bookends it, and why I say that is because the film in the 80s came out when the military was really trying to recover from a big black eye of Vietnam, right?
Mhm.
And the Reagan era got us out of that kind of thing, and it was, respect for the military again. They were, seen as, heroes and all that stuff again. It wasn't like it was in the 70s and early 80s. And movies like Rambo and stuff like that helped with that. And Top Gun was a big part of that too. It helped, you know, change how people viewed the military at that time. And it was cool. It was, yeah, damn. Yeah, that's about the only place you can go.
No,
That's
I'm
where they're
sorry.
going
It's
next, man.
Independence Day,
No,
basically.
no, do not do that. Do
No,
not
I
do
really
Top
just,
Gun in phase.
I think Tom Cruise is smart enough that he'll say, yeah, unless somebody comes to me with a really, really good take.
Right.
I don't see the point in this. And I loved Brian Robbins' response to it when he's been asked, who is the president of Paramount. He's been asked, what are you about Top Gun 3? He's like, ask me in 30 years.
Yeah. There you go.
That's the proper response.
That's exactly.
Did you watch any of the special features?
No, I didn't. I just watched the
I
movie.
watched like a little bit of it, and basically like at one point Tom Cruise kind of goes over, like he was asked to if he'd like to do a sequel shortly after the first one, and he was like, I'll do it if the script is good or something like that. And then he won across getting a script that was good, and he was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. It only took 30 years
the thing
later.
is, I don't want to give him the full benefit of the doubt because he is somebody who's been trying to find another franchise to go along with his Mission Impossible franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Like he tried Jack Reacher, he's tried all these other sci-fi things to try and kickstart a franchise, and he just haven't. So unless he's just happy, because I don't know if he's still getting that sequel to the Day After Tomorrow, whatever the fuck it's called, or Tomorrow Never Dies, or whatever fucking movie it's called, the Death Repeat.
Oh yeah, Live Die Repeat.
Live Die Repeat.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, it's got such a horrible title. Period.
They changed it like 3 times.
That's the other problem.
I just call it Edge of Tomorrow. I don't do that Live Die Repeat.
The Tom Cruise time travel movie.
Yeah. It's Groundhog Day mixed with like, I don't know, fucking BioShock.
There's one we didn't talk about, a double dipper. I was kind of pissy about Sony doing that. Not to change
the
subject.
Edge of Tomorrow.
No. With Groundhog
Day. Yeah.
Like they're giving us a Dolby Vision version and a Steelbook, but nothing new otherwise. I'm like, really? There's probably how many deleted scenes and other things that you could probably dig up.
I would love to see all the deleted stuff on that, man.
I don't have Groundhog Day on 4K, so I'm pretty much good because
I'm kind of pissy though because I do.
I got it, and I got the slipcover.
I don't mind like when Dracula, when they added some stuff to it, did a Dolby Vision, jazzed it up a little. Even Karate Kid, at least it came in the box set with the other movies, and at least they added Dolby Vision to it. So it's like, okay, if I'm stuck buying it again, at least it's in a box set, and I get the other movies and da 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 da.
Yeah.
This to me is kind of almost like, because I like that fucking Steelbook cover.
Right.
It's closer to the original poster art. I think I'm trying to remember because I think the 4K it might actually have the poster. I'd have to look again. But that Blu-ray poster art was horrible. But anyway, we've talked Top Gun now for like 20 minutes, so I don't know if you guys want to move on to a new.
Yeah. Well, I'm good.
Actually, one more thing to touch on. The Val Kilmer scene.
Oh yeah.
What did you guys think of it?
It was all right.
I liked it. I thought it was very
right.
powerful.
Yeah, that
made sense.
That was great. I thought it was handled very well. I was a little nervous in the theater. I was like, oh man, like I'm wondering how they'd handle it. But
no, I wasn't paying attention well enough. Now, is that other black captain guy the same black guy that was in the first movie?
I don't know. I don't really remember personally. I didn't watch the first one.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I've
watched the first one. I just didn't watch it.
I figured they would have made a big enough deal, but he was just kind of in the background all the time, and I'm just kind of like, is that the same pilot from the first movie, or
yeah? No? I don't know.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like most of the characters in the new one are just like new characters, but maybe that's just me. What else? In the theater, like watching it the first time, like when Iceman started talking, I like I like shed a tear. Can't lie. That was
I liked it. I
really
thought that was a great scene. Now, honestly, if
that
I'm
was
honest, I would have switched the deaths around. I mean, I'm happy that he lived. I really am, and I thought it was cool. But I kind of probably would have let Val Kilmer live and Maverick die personally. But I'm happy the way it
well.
was. I liked the
I
movie.
mean, I mean, I mean that would have been an interesting what if, but like, what the hell is Iceman gonna do other than just sit around and type on a computer or type on a keyboard,
He was an
whatever?
admiral, but I
I
enjoyed the
know,
movie.
but still, like, because I mean, as much as I love Val Kilmer and all that, you can't really give him that much to do considering his condition and all that. Even if he's an admiral, like I thought the one scene right there was good enough.
Mhm. But let's go to you, Tom. What do you got? But yeah, everybody check out Top Gun. It is well worth it. The 4K is beautiful. It is a great 4K. I didn't have no complaints about it. The IMAX scenes are great. Maybe one or two scenes like Tom talked about, or we talked about, would look like they were maybe shot in 2K, but everything else is all 4K and it looks beautiful. But Tom, what do you got for us? What's your first pick for tonight?
Oh, well, I've got a lot of movies. So, well, let's finish off some of the Halloween shit first, okay? I did watch
Yeah,
one more Halloween movie. Let's get this one out of the way quickly. I did watch Halloween H2O.
oh, still the best sequel.
It is, but for some reason the scan bothered me. I don't know why. It's supposed to be from the negative, but see, now this one came from Paramount. So to me, it's suffering from some of the similar issues we had with Scream and shit like that.
Mm.
Not as bad. It does look pretty good, but yeah, no. But overall, though, I had fun this time watching it. It's a great watch. The best part is it's short. It's right to the point. Great cast. The music's pretty good, even though they butchered Ottman's soundtrack for it. I've been looking for the soundtrack for this movie forever. Loaded with the same special features as before. Of course, I switched out the inner cover because I hate this one.
Yeah, that
Oh,
artwork
this is
is
not the
horrible.
worst looking one of the bunches, but of course,
Yeah.
that's not the best there either, but it's better than this shit. But no, other than that, what can I say? It's H2O. After seeing Halloween Ends, it's now the official ending to the Halloween trilogy, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, definitely. Brian Barth, I think it's over for a while, anyways.
They're
For a
gonna
while, I
reboot
think
it.
it's over. Eventually, but for right now, I think they're gonna let it rest for a while.
New timeline, folks. New timeline.
Yeah, but I do like
They
H2O.
drove this one into the ground so bad, I think it'll be a couple of years. I think you're
Yeah,
right, Greg.
it'll be a while. It'll be a while.
I do think it'll be a while. That is most likely, but yeah, I have seen H2O actually because I have like a picture of like kind of like the graph, the graph diagram showing
Yeah, I got
like
one
which
too.
timeline is which, and I followed sort of the H2 timeline. I still haven't seen the one after that. It's the one that people don't like. What is it?
Don't.
Oh, Resurrection.
Resurrection. That's it.
That's horrible.
Or skip to the skip past the opening. Don't watch the Laurie Strode bit. It's horrible.
It's
The
bad.
movie after that is not so bad, but
well, here's the thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing. When I watched H2O, I'm like, yeah, that's the end. That's the one I have. The one I have it saved in my photo gallery in my phone. But like after watching the end of H2O, I'm like, yeah, that seems like a reasonable ending.
See, my preferred trilogy is Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O. And my favorite timeline, just for fun, is Halloween, Halloween 2, 4, 5, and 6. But yeah, if I'm going to go straight to Halloween at 1, 2, and H2O. And that's how I'm going to roll. So, and Joey, it's funny that you mentioned the Halloween prequeling because we're getting a Friday the 13th prequel on Peacock. So,
yeah, we found out a little info on that. And we talked about that.
It's by A24 as well.
Which is weird because they do elevated horror.
Yeah.
Does that mean the Babadook is going to be in it?
Yeah, that's what it means.
No.
I don't mean to keep bringing it up, but did you ever see that where they asked John Carpenter about that?
The
What?
Babadook?
No.
they asked John Carpenter about elevated horror. They asked him,
No,
do
I've never
you
heard
like
that.
it? He goes, I have no idea what you're talking about.
He
He's like,
kind of did. He kind of did his own elevated horror of a sorts. I mean, I guess, but I
yeah.
mean,
There's like
I don't know.
they try to explain it to me. It's like what A24 does with their horror, where they kind of give out a messaging in their horror.
It's
And
pretentious as fuck usually.
yeah, John
Actually,
Carpenter's like, all films sort of give out a messaging. I don't know what you're talking about. So he was just like, I don't know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Everybody acts like A24 is this new thing. It's like, yeah, we had those all the time. They were called like Rosemary's Baby,
Mhm.
The Exorcist. They had a lot of hoity-toity, fancy-ass fucking horror movies back in the day too. You know, it's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
new.
It's nothing. It's nothing new.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I
what you
did
do
hear
about
that.
doing
This. I don't know if you've heard about this, but yes, David Gordon Green did put down Friedkin. He did put him down for Exorcist because he's doing that.
Oh
Yeah.
God, I hope Friedkin hears about that. I love Friedkin.
Yeah, he put him down. I can't remember what he said, but yeah, he was like basically disrespecting him.
Did you guys? I know you've seen that Friedkin's quote about home video and DVDs, right?
Yeah, I saw that when you shared that one time.
Yeah, fuck him and
yeah, fuck him. It's great.
no, Friedkin got zero fucks to give. If he said that, Friedkin will be out there saying, "Yeah, and you can suck my dick."
Oh yeah, I can't remember what he said, but I
Your
know
mother sucks cocks
Mr.
in
H
hell.
covered
Watch
it.
him say that.
Yes, this is. I wish I actually had the clip because I love Joe Bob Briggs' response to elevated horror. He basically is like, "It's horror for people who don't like horror movies."
Ooh, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. But yeah, H2O is great. Runner, did you want to go for your next one, or do you want me to go?
It's
Because I know you said you went after you do your
Let's
last
go.
one.
Let's let Rennie
out.
go. Because you have how many, Greg?
I got three left.
All right, I have.
Why don't you
I
let
have
him
a
go
pick.
first, then? Yeah.
I have two picks. I'll go one at a time. I'm not sure if I should use this as one pick. It's like two movies that are part of the Halloween franchise, and one of them is the sequel to John Carpenter's Halloween, and that is Halloween 2.
Nice. Yeah, you
4K.
pissed me off. You got your Scream. Mine didn't come. I got the 4K Halloweens 2 coming, and I haven't got them yet. Fucking bastards.
I got 'em.
So you did order it from the Spook?
I ordered a couple of them, not all of them.
Okay. But yeah, good movie. A damn good movie to or damn good sequel, I mean, to the first movie.
I did see somebody put out a thing that says a lot of people have stopped talking about Halloween 2. I know John Carpenter don't like it, but it for years it's been regarded as a great sequel. We need to remember that.
and
it is one of the better sequels.
Yeah.
And I did switch the
it's much
cover.
better.
Good man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I switched it for
I
the other
love that artwork there too. Even though it's not even painted, it's just a kind of a picture, but it's
I know
I love that.
It's great. It's so good. But
it's the Message Warriors.
No, but you know what's funny is well, so you get the 4K disc, right?
I'm not
HD.
asleep. No.
Then you get the Blu-ray, which is the theatrical cut, and then you get a DVD, which is the television cut.
Maybe tonight. Maybe
only a minute
tonight
shorter.
you'll be woke. Oh, but the TV cut is a completely different cut. Have you watched it?
No.
That's funny because that's the version I grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for the longest time, that movie was out of print on video. Like, you couldn't find that fucker. Unless you had a video store that was lucky to still have it. Until Good Times decided to release it in, like, the mid-90s, I think it was.
I was going to say, you know what's funny is, like, you'd say that is, like, Halloween 2 is, like, one of the most VHSs you can find.
Now?
That nowadays, which is weird because it was, like, rare to find back then.
Well, they re-released it finally in the 90s a couple times, and I think after Good Times had it, I think Universal re-released it one more time on video because then they did their DVD. Good Times had a DVD of it as well. Yeah, it's been released quite a few times now.
And just to make this quick, I'm going to show the other movie because it's the next Halloween movie that isn't
3.
Yeah, it's 3, even though it's not part of.
Yay! Happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween.
It's almost time, kids.
It's time.
This movie I'm more interested in talking about than this one, honestly.
Did you like it?
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for an anthology movie, yeah. I thought it was pretty decent. Tom Atkins, man.
Atkins drinking beer and fucking ladies.
Oh
Hell yeah,
God.
that's how you roll, man.
That
Then I offer a sip of beer, and and there we are in bed. Just like that. It's that easy. Because I'm smooth.
Yes, you are.
I love that.
That man, outside of like only Tom Selleck had him beat for a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Tom
80s,
Selleck
man.
and what's his name?
Yeah,
Sam Elliott.
But Sam always didn't have the mustache.
No, he shaved it once in a while. Yeah. So Tom, man, that is. What do you think, Joe? Seriously, did you like this movie? Take away the Halloween, like the Michael Myers stuff, as the movie as a whole. You enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was pretty good.
Although I think Atkins did, once without the mustache, wasn't it?
He's in the fog without the mustache.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's the fog. Yeah.
He's also in Lethal Weapon, so
I think he has the stash there, though.
Yeah, he's got the stash in that. Yeah, he's in the first Lethal Weapon.
Okay, because I've only seen the first Lethal Weapon. I don't remember him in it.
He's the father of the girl that dives off the.
Yeah, in the beginning.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
he's the guy that sets the whole goddamn thing in motion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know Tom Atkins at the time, so I
drinking beer and fucking ladies.
Drinking beer, fucking ladies. And you know what's funny too is the chick that dives off the beginning. I know I'm going off on the wrong thing here, but talking about this chick that dives off the building in Lethal Weapon 1 is what's his name's girlfriend from Cheers. Woody's girlfriend. Woody's girlfriend, the rich girl that he marries.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's in Cheers in that show. The rich girl that he marries in Cheers.
In the show, okay.
Yeah, in the show.
At the time they were together. But
okay,
I see who you're saying.
Chicken, yeah. So, but anyways, it's just that, like we talked about Tom, I'm that guy.
I don't know if he still does this, but if you get a chance to see Tom Atkins at a signing thing or anything, I guess he'll drink a beer with you. Even if it's like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I don't know if he still will because of his age, but I don't know how many stories I've heard where because people will bring him a 6-pack of beer.
I'm going to watch Dan. I'm going to watch the sequels at some point. Calm down. I'm a very busy person.
And one person who did it once, he goes, "It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, but here you go." And he goes, "Oh, I'm still gonna drink one." And he threw the rest in his cooler.
I love Tom Atkins, man. I want to meet
while he talked to the fan, and then
But it is great. This movie, it's a fun movie. I like it. I enjoy it. It doesn't really like kids. This movie doesn't really like kids, but it's a fun movie.
It took chances.
Yeah, it did. It really went in a direction that I think that's why it was a bit ahead of its time and people didn't get it. Now people get it.
And that was the first Halloween movie I saw because believe it or not, the night I saw Halloween 3 and 2 on the same night, and they were both on like AMC or something like that, and I taped them. At my cousin's. I just happened to be at my cousin's near Halloween, and they were showing them and like some Friday the 13th, some other stuff. So those were the TV versions I had for the longest time. And yeah, I saw Halloween 3 first. Had no frame of reference. I actually thought Michael Myers was the guy in the beginning. Technically, he is. That is Michael Myers from part 2.
It is.
I didn't think of
he's
it
not
like
in the
that.
mask. See, and I think that's what confused Roger Ebert when he did the review too, because he's like, Michael Myers he gets killed off right away in the first few minutes, or the killer from the first 2 movies gets killed off in the first few minutes. He says that in his review. So clearly he didn't even realize then that this was not even a thing. And it threw me off when I saw that thing on the TV tonight, Halloween on TV. Yeah. And then I think I kind of got it then, and then when Halloween 2 came on, I was a little lost at first because they didn't have the shit from the first movie, but it was the second one is such a straight slasher movie, really,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have to. So I enjoyed it for that aspect. But going back to that TV version of that runner, the TV version of 2 is way different than the movie itself. It has a bunch of different stuff in it. It's cut differently, and it has a completely different ending.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I want to watch it then.
So when I watched it for the first time on regular video, I was like, "Where's this? Where's that?
Yeah.
When did that? What? Whoa! He's supposed to live. What?" I'm not going to give anything way more than that.
It is, and I'm glad that they put the TV cut of part 1 and 2 on these discs. I'm really happy they did that because it's fun, especially with like you talk about the part 2 TV cut, how different it is. That's why I love the TV cuts.
Part 1's funny to go back and see how Puritan they were.
Yeah,
because they cut out a lot.
They did.
It's like, dude, they didn't show shit. The Hulk probably has worse shit on it. like they even shop out like it cuts like right before he stabs the kid and stuff like that. It does. I don't think it even shows the whole like head tilt or any of that shit. Like most of Michael's shit's cut out of this movie.
It is.
Like the choking scene is cut down. I mean, it's all framed and cropped off. I mean, the first movie I wasn't so worried about. It was the main thing that's cool about having the first movie TV cut is that's actually the first time it was on television. So they have the intro bumper, and it's that cut, because that cut later on was not the cut they showed on TV because it's such a mild movie.
Mm-hmm.
They only had to cut out the tits, and that's it. Really, after that,
Yeah.
I don't even think is there F words in there at all.
No, I don't think there's any F words.
I don't think there is one F word in the whole movie.
No.
There's one. The shit.
Wait,
shit was the only other thing they cut out.
One?
The first Halloween.
Oh, the first Halloween. Okay. I brought the first two.
And then when he goes, "Goddamn teenagers," they cut that out too. Because I remember that on the AMC version. Because I had that.
Yeah.
It was weird because one night they showed 3, 2, and 1 out of order. And I think what it was is they showed Halloween 1 and 2 earlier in the night. And then they showed like Friday the 13th, something and something. Then they jumped to 3. It was weird how they did it.
AMC does that. They play them out of order all the time.
Yeah. And USA, maybe it was USA I taped off of. That could have been too. It could have been USA. It was one of the cable channels because growing up, long story short, and I think I've told this on one of Greg's videos anyway. So you want the longer story, you can find it there. But growing up, we only had 12 channels and half of them were doubles of the networks. So of all those channels, we really only had like 4 cable channels. And one of them was technically WGN, which is loosely a cable channel.
Mm-hmm.
So really I had TBS, WGN, ESPN, and I'm trying to remember what else for cable channels. We added a couple over the years, but we didn't have USA when I was growing up because I got pissed. I didn't get to watch Ninja Turtles because USA had Ninja Turtles and stuff if you didn't have it in syndication. And we didn't have AMC. We didn't have MTV. We didn't have Nickelodeon. I was pissed as a kid. And then when I moved someplace where we actually had it, I was just like in shock. It was culture shock to me.
Right.
It was crazy. I soaked up so much TV.
And we did talk about that on the Physical Media Club that I usually do on Mondays. I record the interviews. It was a great interview. Check that out because we had a blast.
Yeah,
that
Runner.
was a good conversation.
I didn't mean to dominate that for so many minutes there because I know you got to run here soon. But like, what's your reaction then to Halloween 3 other than that? Anything cool that stands out to you?
I do kind of like that it was like an anthology, not alternate, an anthology to like, because you can kind of see what John Carpenter like wanted to do, and I remember hearing people saying that they don't like it and all that, and then I keep hearing like, oh no, it's actually good. It's actually like this, that, and this, and all that. I'm like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. So I got this and the second movie because of the Spooktober sale that Shout had. So I'm like,
Yeah,
I'll get it so I can watch them eventually. And yeah, I thought Halloween 3 had a really great concept to it. I like the whole plot with the masks and all that. I love Tom Atkins' character. Thought he was great.
he's awesome, man.
He's so cool. And that the very end of it is great, where he's like, stop it, stop.
Oh, the body snatchers ending.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
nice.
I've interviewed the director of that movie, Runner.
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee Wallace. Yeah.
Tommy Lee Wallace. Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he talked a lot about that's the one we talked the most about between that and the first Halloween.
No, did you hear about
cool.
the I know Tom's heard about this, but did you hear about one of the was it supposed to be the original ending, Tom, where like Halloween ends, they were going to go to the Silver Shamrock factory, and as it was spitting out those masks, it was going to start spitting out the Michael Myers mask at the end
Of Halloween 3, that was the plan?
No, of Halloween Ends with David Gordon Green, what he was going to do.
Oh, I heard something about that.
Yeah. They were going to go to the Silver Shamrock factory, and as they were making the witch, the skull, and the pumpkin mask, it was after it got done spitting out a batch of those, it was going to start spitting out a batch of the Michael Myers mask.
That's too meta.
Like that was like going to be like it was the mask. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Speaking of that, I'll say this to anyone trying to compare this movie to Halloween Ends. You fucking can't. The only thing you can compare them is the font in the beginning. That's it.
It's bad that people are trying to compare it.
I know. Even after watching this, I'm like, it makes no goddamn sense that people are comparing the two.
Halloween 3 has always had that that problem. And this is how it usually goes for me personally. I'll say something about Halloween 3 or so it'll come up in some way. And people go, "Oh, I hate that fucking movie."
Yeah.
My first question to them will be, "Oh, is that just because it didn't have Michael Myers in it?" Yes. The conversation ends there. Usually, unless it's on like a stream. True. Because I know there's no way I'm going to have a conversation with this person that's going to be intellectual in any way, because most people who jump to that without even, because once in a while you'll have the other answers, of course, other than, yeah, I loved it or I think it's okay. The other answers are, I like it, but I wish it would have been a sequel to that one. I can accept, right? Like that's an argument I can talk to somebody, or just a disagreement we can go into, because yeah, I'm with Gary Ambrosia. The second film should have been The Fog. Should have been Halloween, The Fog, and then Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and go on from there, because the fourth one could have been Prince of Darkness even. Maybe,
absolutely.
And that's what I asked Tommy about that. He said, yeah, we would have loved to doing that. And I said, yeah, because then after about 10 years, then you could herald the return of Michael Myers, right? Like Halloween 6, the return of Michael Myers, The
fifth could have been
Return to Haddonfield or whatever. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Because I asked Tommy, because he turned down Halloween 2. They offered it to him and he dreaded it, but he's like, I don't think I'm ever going to work again, but I'm sorry guys, I can't do this movie. Right. I think it's shit.
This is one, after watching this movie Halloween 3, I will say this. The first thing I thought about was, I really wish like Tom Atkins played not the same character he played in 3, but just like a completely original character in the Michael Myers timeline. I thought that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Well, that would have been interesting. I love, because the fact that The Fog has a bunch of the same cast.
Oh yeah.
Halloween 3 has some of the same cast. That's what I would have loved to have seen, John Carpenter, Tommy Lee Wallace, or whoever other buddies come back every couple of years, every other year, with a Halloween movie being a new anthology film. And like I said, every once in a while we'll get a Michael Myers movie, because Tommy said that he would have done a part 2 had it not been the same night. Because I asked him flat out, I'm like, what would you have done? I think I said this last time, if you may have heard this. He said, I would have done something more like H2O, only it would have been Laurie in college.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, I would have went forward. He goes, I wouldn't have done the same damn night. He goes, that's stupid. And secondly, I wouldn't have made him the brother and sister thing with like John did either. And I know he didn't like that anyway, he said, but it was, that to me was the he goes, I thought I was fucking my career by saying that. But he goes, I told him, I was like, yeah, you come up with something different maybe for the next one, I'm all for it. And they like, yeah, that's what we wanted to do. But the studio, since Universal bought the rights, they insisted that the second film be a direct sequel to the first movie. They wanted Michael Myers no matter what. So they were kind of stuck with that. Yeah. But by the third film, since they had kind of came out to a logical ending, Universal's like, yeah, we don't give a fuck as long as you get a movie out by this date. So that's when they were like, all right, well, now we're going to try this. And they should have, and Tommy said they should have done a better job advertising it. They didn't do a good job with that. The studio didn't really get behind it. It flopped miserably. But of course, he knows that it's found a fan base, so he's happy about that. He's glad that it finally is. And I told him flat, like, it was the first one I saw. It was my first Halloween movie, so I had no bias going into it. And he too believes that's the big bias, right? It's not a Michael Myers movie, and it's not a hack and slasher film either. On top of it, because he's like, there's different kinds of movies and horror. He said, of course, you have like the slasher film, or the psychological horror, or the Victorian haunted movie horror, or something to that effect, or like the Exorcist kind of haunted movie, or you have a pod people story. He goes, this was a pod people story. Halloween traditionally had been a slasher franchise up to this point. I tried to make a pod people story, and people didn't like that. He goes, and that's why I even made the ending a complete ripoff or homage to
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, with Kevin McCarthy saying, they're here already. You're next. You're next. You're next. And as he goes, it's the same thing with Atkins screaming, stop it, stop it, stop it.
See, I saw the Michael Myers stuff first. I saw 1 and 2 and 4 first. That was my first horror Halloween movies. And then I didn't even really know about part 3 till later on. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. So I never really had a bias towards it at all. So I was just like, oh, that's okay. That's a weird way to do it in the middle, but I liked it.
Well, I think it's helped that generations have come along. And not only that, we've had enough Michael Myers sequels now to where, I made the joke, we have less good Halloween movies now than we do good ones.
That's true. It's true.
Than the bad ones or whatever. So, like, yeah. So,
yeah. But you guys will move on to me. Is it?
Yeah. What do you got for us?
Okay. Speaking of sort of leftovers from because I watched horror movies for Halloween.
Of course.
Not Halloween movie, but I did go back.
If you don't.
Yeah. Did go back and watch Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which I was going to bring up when you brought up the pins, but we were going to talk about Top Gun first. But I did watch Part 2.
I should have saved them. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
This is why we should just tell each other what we're bringing.
I know we should. But I did watch Part 2. After watching the first one. What? Yeah, that's Shout. This is
the Shout one.
Yeah. After this is it's still a fun movie, but it is a little bit of letdown. And I forgot how annoying the kid is in this movie. The kid is really freaking annoying in this movie. But Tom Matthews and what's his name? Oh, I can't even think of his name. Is it James Karen? Yeah, James. They're still great. They're still great in this one, and I think where they went a little too far with the zombies, because they tried to give like each zombie a personality and a comedic relief, and it was just like, okay. I mean, it's still a fun movie and I still enjoy it, but yeah, after watching the first one again, it's like, that's not what I quite remembered. So yeah,
I remember the music being pretty good still, but
the music is still pretty decent. Not as good as the first one, but yeah.
We got some South African rands here.
Yeah, some more South African rands from MJG. Thank you for 30. Was it rands? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
32.99 rands. I appreciate that. I'm very appreciative, and thank you. Let me find you something good to here. Since we're getting into the season,
where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
How about those Bears? Yeah, it was a good game last week. Good game.
How about those Bears?
I can't wait till that hits 4K.
I immediately looking forward to that. And
I'll get an hour's fucking deleted scenes.
I know, waiting. And I was going to hold off on the Christmas Story 4K for a bit, but after seeing the trailer for the second one, I was kind of like, oh shit.
Mine's gonna be here tomorrow. Mine were late. All my shit was late this week.
Really?
Yeah, it's I don't know.
That's funny you say that, because I canceled my pre-order for the Top Gun Maverick Steelbook because it was gonna take like weeks, like after
it probably
the
sold
date.
Out. Yeah.
No, it took like it's like, oh, it's gonna ship in the 22nd. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Then I
See,
look at
I
the
think I pre-ordered my. Oh, go ahead, Runner. I'm sorry.
No. So then I look at my Best Buy app and I check to see like what's available, and then it's like, oh, they have some available on their website, and then I checked like, oh, they're available at the fucking store. So the first thing I did before I went to class was I drove straight to my Best Buy and I got Top Gun Maverick, and I canceled my
I almost
Amazon order.
did, but they already sent mine out, and my Walmart didn't have the steelbooks. They only had the regular 4Ks.
Oh, at
I
least
think
your
they all
Walmart
sold out
has
already, to
stuff
be
like
honest
that.
with you. If they had them, they were gone because they had a standee.
There were a decent amount of steelbooks left at my.
Nah, mine were all just the regular 4K. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just wait till mine gets here.
There you go.
I was pissed off about one thing. While I was checking out, there was one dude in front of me who got the last two steelbooks for Starship Troopers on 4K. I was so
I remember
pissed.
We have taunted Runners Best Buy too much.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it! I wanted that.
It is taunting him in return.
Hey, we haven't said it tonight, by the way. Fuck your Best Buy.
Don't do that.
I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Sorry, Runner.
It's coming after Runner now.
Hey, I tried to do my part.
I got it. It was a reference to.
I was gonna say, it's like
we're doing our part.
You know what's fucked up is like I swear we have like maybe 5 people in this town who buy 4Ks because that's probably what they got of Elvis was like 4 or 5, like, or maybe there's more. But Jesus, and that's what I think about the Steelbook too. Is they might have got a handful and that was it, and they're gone. Sorry, Ron.
No. I was pretty much done. Like, I mean, I did see a decent amount of the Christmas stuff on 4K. Like, I'm probably gonna get Elf at some point.
Yeah, they didn't have any of that at my Walmart. They didn't have none of the Christmas ones yet, but they had a bunch of empty shelves, kind of like they were doing at yours. The one you showed a video of, Runner or Greg, which is kind of funny. It makes me wonder what they're doing. That or they're switching over to Christmas stuff. That's what I was wondering.
No, see, I did take the video because I did take that video, and I thought
a video too.
Yeah, I thought maybe they were stocking, right? I thought they were stocking because that's why everything was empty, but I didn't see carts. So I went back a week later. No, it still looks like that. And actually that one thing out in the middle that was empty is gone. So now it's just the aisle. So I was like, they didn't even stock. It still looks exactly the same. And it just got one section. So it sucks.
Yeah, because yours has actually like 2 sections compared to mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like mine has just like half of a wall because the other half is taken up with records and CDs. And then around the front end, they have all the new movies. And then just for like one section wrapping around before the books, there's like all the cheap DVD releases of like whatever Disney has out recently. Like Jurassic World was taking up half of the section the other time for a while. It's all DVDs. It's never hardly any Blu-rays or 4Ks.
Yeah,
very rarely, and it pisses me off because Walmart even used to have a 4K section.
They did. Now it's just like this little nothing.
It's nothing really. That's why I never go to Walmart.
It's because honestly it's because Walmart sells like the most DVDs. That's where they sell the most. So
yeah, I know it sucks.
But
and most of them are just straight to video shit.
It is, and that's where I found that Top Gunner Danger Zone. I almost bought that movie. I came this close to buying it just for fun, and I was like, "No, I can't do that."
See, I don't remember seeing that, but like, I could only imagine. I don't know. I probably would have been like you. I would have been like, man, maybe I should get this just for fun or like just as a joke. But like, I probably would have like left it there.
It's crazy, but yeah. I watched after watching that the original Night of the Living Dead. I had to watch it again. The second one. I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it, but yeah, it's not as good as that first one. And I forgot the kid really grates my nerves. The kid in that movie, and the zombies I thought were a little too over comedic. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it, and Who knows? Who knows? Hi, Heather Preston. Welcome, and the Nordporial Lifeform, and Tommy, and everybody that's joined us. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming in. Yeah, there. I know you haven't seen it, Runner Tom. You probably haven't watched it in a while, so we can move
I
on
watched
to.
it when that Shout one first came out, but it's been like what 4 years since that
Yeah,
dropped.
it's been a while. I didn't get to
2016
slip.
maybe. I have a slip.
Is
I
it
didn't
worth
get it,
watching, Greg?
unfortunately. 2018.
All right, so I was right with the 4 years.
Yeah.
Is it
Is
worth
that
watching,
Runner?
Greg? Just curious.
Huh?
Yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good one.
All right.
I mean, it's not as good as that first one. It definitely goes for the PG-13.
Oh, that's right. It is PG-13.
Yeah, it goes PG-13. There's no boobs, no naked Leanna Quigley, which sucks. But it's got some good zombie stuff in it, and Tom Matthews and the old guy from the first one, they're playing
But they
different
play
characters.
different parts. Yeah.
Yeah, and they make a nod to like, I feel like we've done this all before.
You know, I don't know. Now I'm less interested in the fucking movie now.
It's all right, but I wouldn't pay a bunch for it. Like if it's still in print,
I think
you can
this
find the
is
Shout
pretty
Factory
cheap right
one.
now. I think the second one is pretty cheap.
Like if you can get it on a sale or something, definitely.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I wouldn't pay full price for it.
One of my favorite parts is where once Tom Matthews become a zombie again, and he talks his girlfriend into letting him eat her brains. She's like, okay, go ahead.
It's very similar to that bit in the first movie in a way. But like, I think if I remember right, like, what's his face, the Tar Man doesn't look as good either.
No, the Tar Man looks because they gave him like big bug eyes and hair, and it's just like it doesn't look as good. So yeah. But I mean, it's really not a bad movie, but it's nowhere near as good as the first one.
Well, no. Plus, like you told me, like, oh, like it's PG-13. That's one reason why I'm not as excited to check it out. And plus,
Like,
there's
I don't think Dan
there's no
O'Bannon
Leanna
knows.
Quigley dancing nude. So yeah, no.
Did Dan O'Bannon have anything to do with the sequel either?
I don't think he did. I don't think he had anything to do with it
I think that's a
whatsoever.
big part of it too.
Yeah. But I watched that over the Halloween weekend.
I think that the second film is a result of the first film being a big hit on video and cable, and kids really watching it a lot. So they're like, "Oh, we got to make the second one a PG-13."
That's like we talked about that one time, like horror movies that you could throw in part 2 of Return of the Living Dead for your kid. You really could. There's nothing really bad about it. Plus, it's like the protagonist is a kid, but he's really annoying, but he's a kid.
Kind of reminds me of the second Creep Show with a little bit with having the kid being a bigger part of the story.
But yeah, we can move on. Go to you, Tom. What do you got for us?
Well, let's see here. Let's shift gears a little bit. Still in the Halloween side of things, but I don't think I've shown this on here because I don't think I've ever watched it until now. And that is Beetlejuice. And this, of course, comes with instructions on how to do the door. And you pull it apart here, and your movie's inside there.
That's pretty cool.
That's neat.
Let's see if I can get it out here without hurting myself. He also comes with a nice pamphlet here.
That is pretty cool.
Exorcist called Beetlejuice.
It's Beetle Guys.
Oh, I know. You know how to play charades? Yeah, no, it's the 4K. It's an earlier Warner 4K, not like too early, but I'm not sure if it's from the negative. Really? I think it is, but it is kind of a little soft for that in some places. But no, overall, it's still a good picture.
I got the 4K. I just don't think I've watched it.
It does have a Dolby Atmos mix, but I can't remember anything really standing out above and beyond the previous. It has shit for special features. Just nothing really. It's the same old Blu-ray anyway. It's just got a couple episodes of the series, which I have the Shout Factory
TV
said
show.
anyway.
Yeah.
So like I need that shit. But
Speaking
no,
of like Nickelodeon getting to see things for the first time,
yeah.
go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
No, it's like the Beetlejuice TV show was on Nickelodeon. I remember,
Oh, that's where you saw it.
Yeah, I watched it Nickelodeon. That's where I remember
I saw
seeing
it
it.
the first run on ABC, and then I think it moved to CBS or vice versa. But yeah.
Oh, really? I always saw it on Nickelodeon. That's where the first place I saw it. So,
yeah, I think they showed it in syndication afterwards. But
yeah. But yeah, I have the 4K Beetlejuice. I just had never actually put it in.
Well, it's funny watching this because I love this movie, and there's not anything wrong with it. But I'm noticing this time something I never really noticed before about the movie. And Brian Barth, this might be an answer to your question. How come Beetlejuice isn't the main character?
Oh,
yeah. Well, because clearly the Maitlands and Winona Ryder's character is the main characters, really, and Beetlejuice is the antagonist. That's why. So that part I have no problem with. They just name the movie after the antagonist, which happens sometimes, whatever. And he's the bigger, broader character. But I noticed this, and this is probably for that reason, to get to Beetlejuice sooner. The Maitlands have zero setup. None. We get no character setup of them whatsoever. We have no idea what they do, who they really are, why it's important to them to have this house the way it is. We don't really even get a good idea of the relationship between Gina Davis's character and the one that sells their house. She says they're family. They don't say what kind of family.
That's true.
You have the moment where she brings up having kids and Gina gets upset. So you don't have any setup as to where like maybe they can't have kids. There's nothing to set any of them up at all.
I never even thought about that.
I figured out. He owns the hardware store.
Okay.
Because it's called Maitland's. He just walks in, grabs the shit he needs, walks back out. That was probably his dad's hardware store. This is probably his dad's house. This is probably the house he grew up in as a kid. That's all his toys and trinkets upstairs. I had to surmise this time. Because I'd never thought about this shit before. Because it doesn't really matter that much. Except for, I found it hard now watching it. Because it's been the first time maybe 10 or so years, maybe a little more. Because I had the Blu-ray, but it's been a while since I watched it. Like actually paid attention to it, Right. Like I remember throwing it down for my kid here and there when he was younger, but never really sat down and watched it myself in a while and actually just paid attention, And I'm just sitting here watching. I'm like, there's no story development for these characters. We have no real idea who they are, what they do. We're getting an idea that they're on a vacation. And she says, I'm glad we're spending our vacation at home, insinuating maybe they were originally planning on spending the vacation somewhere else and something got in the way. None of that is set up. I think that's all cut out of the movie. That's all shit that would have been like an early 20 minutes leading into this fucking movie. And they cut all that shit out because even in this form, it's still 45 minutes before you get to Beetlejuice. 20 some minutes before you see the ad.
Right.
So I'm sitting here thinking if this movie was like 2 hours long originally, which would probably fill that out, that means you wouldn't get to Beetlejuice until an hour and 15 minutes into the fucking movie.
Makes it so they cut out, basically it feels like they cut out their backstory.
I understand why. Because there's clearly shit there that's still hanging that has never been addressed. Right?
Right.
Like, and here's the other thing is I know this movie was originally going to be directed by Wes Craven. This is a script that was bouncing around Hollywood for a while. I'm wondering how much more horror oriented the original version was. Because once Wes left and Tim Burton came on board, I didn't mean to say back. When he came on board is when it got a rewrite to become more comedic.
Right.
I'm curious how dark Wes Craven's version is and like sitting here like that. So I go from this version I just created in my mind that I just explained to you watching this movie this time to, okay, I'm going to do the darker version of this in my head. There's a dark overtone to this movie. And there's another part I forgot to remember. Remember, Gina Davis's character has a huge attachment to Winona Ryder's character.
Yeah, she like comes very like motherly
very
towards her.
motherly to her, and a very like even keeps calling her a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think they lost a kid, or she couldn't have. They had had a miscarriage in the other version.
Have
So
you
that's
talked
a
to
touchy
script
subject. I'm thinking about.
Because now you've got me interested in when you see how much this was.
Yeah, on Halloween. So like I haven't really had a chance to bring. I'm like, because I've been bouncing this around in my brain now. I'm like, what is the other version of Beetlejuice we've never seen? And this is one of those videos. I doubt that guy's watching, whoever does those now, who really hit big with the whole. I will tell you, this guy, whoever it was, I wish I could remember his name. Was it not Top Hand Entertainment or something? Like, whoever does these things where he's like the other version you never saw, like Uncle Buck, you know that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was the first one he did.
Yeah,
and I believe he's the fucking reason we're getting all those deleted scenes on the Blu-ray. I'm almost positive because that guy blew up with that video.
Yeah, because it explains why
articles written about
what's his name
it
has
everything.
the black eye and everything.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here thinking like this could be the next video for that guy because I don't know if I have the type of time that he does to do this kind, because I don't with Midnight's Edge, sadly.
Yeah.
Unless we were going to do a Beetlejuice retrospective, which ain't going to happen, at least not in the next 5 years.
Right.
So at this point, I'm just like, so in my brain, I'm creating this whole new version of this movie in my head that I'm like, I wonder if that's how we got here. Because you watch this movie and there's elements of these things in there, and me being somebody who comes from a little bit of a writing background, especially an editing background, I'm reverse engineering this story now, because here's the other part, and this is a reason why I think it's that macabre. Wes Craven was working on this with the guy who wrote Nightmare on Elm Street with him. I can't remember the guy's name. Son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. I know. Me too. I know.
If you know where I'm going with this, Greg, their version of Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is fucking vicious as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the least bit hammy. There's none of the joking Freddy. He is... like he calls one, like I can't remember, one girl a cunt or something like that, and he's just
it gets dark.
It's dark as fuck, and there's some really nasty deaths in it and shit like that. And so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, if that's the guy who was writing Beetlejuice when Wes Craven was supposed to be working on it, it was still supposed to be kind of a bit of a black comedy, but not like a flat out comedy like it became, like a cartoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure this movie was meant to be a PG-13, and they got surprised when they got back as a PG. And that's simply because Tim Burton came from cartoons, and he was able to make this like a living cartoon. Because then getting away with the F word in a PG was tough. PG-13, not such a problem then. PG, tough. There's only like 2 or 3 movies I can think of that have a fuck in a PG after PG-13 existed.
Right.
And when he goes, nice fucking model,
Yeah.
It's not even so much that he says fucking in that scene, it's the fact that he grabs his nuts afterward.
Yeah.
Give it a PG-13.
It gets there, yeah. Now
you've
got
the
me
deal
curious
with how that works, and I'm going to keep my mouth shut after this, but like that's the whole rule with the F word previous to now. Now the rules have been tossed out the window, but previous to now, as long as you were not using the F word in a sexual connotation, it would usually be able to get past with a PG before the days of PG-13 and a PG-13 easily in the days of when it first came about. If you decided to say, if you say you're fucking dead, that's a PG-13. Mm-hmm. If you say I'm going to fuck you till you're dead, that's an R.
Makes sense. Now you've got me very, very curious, because I love Beetlejuice and I never really thought about any of that before till just now. And now I would love to read Wes Craven's script.
Just in case anybody's curious, because I see him out there. No, see a big fat PG there. It was PG. It was not ever re-rated or anything like that, like Jaws was. Because people have been, because a lot of people think Jaws is PG-13. It's like, yeah, technically it was rated that on a re-release. And for some reason, there's some versions on video that carry the PG-13, but no, Jaws was initially rated PG.
Mm-hmm. I think maybe they re-rated it when they re-released it. So
that's what I just said. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A re-release. I think it was for the 10th anniversary or the 15th anniversary when they put it back in theaters for a while. Real quick for like a limited thing. Yeah, it got re-rated by the MPAA as PG-13.
Yeah, a lot of those, like seriously, if you some of those early PGs before they came up with the PG-13 and all that, like that one with Mel Gibson and Anthony Hopkins, it's just like boobs everywhere and it's rated PG, where they're on the
Yeah, you
boat.
could get away with boobs as
Yeah,
long as they weren't having sex.
yeah. They go to that island and it's just like all the chicks are just walking around topless, like
A
20
great
of them.
example is watch the first few minutes of Police Academy 2. They get away with everything you can in a PG-13 movie. I think they have, I don't even know if they have an F word in Police Academy 2, but that aside, you've got two sets of tits in the first few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's still PG. It's almost as many or more tits than in the first movie, but it's PG-13 because they don't say the F words and they don't have sex in it. It's their tops get pulled off at the beach and they come up and slap the guy who pulled them off, or where they think pulled them off, or whatever it was, and it was actually Mahoney or whatever it was, if I remember right from the thing.
I think it was
But
Mahoney,
anyway,
yeah.
it was when he took off with the thing because the kids tied him to the kite string or whatever it was, I think, and then tied that to his four-wheeler or three-wheeler or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Better times indeed.
Better times indeed. Now you've seriously, if you got me thinking about this, I want to know the other version of Beetlejuice. I want to know what we could have gotten.
Don't think about what this movie is even about, right?
Yeah.
It's about people who want to get people the fuck out of their house. It's basically a reverse haunted house movie.
Yeah. Because they're the ones haunting the people, the dead people that live there.
And the horrific people are the people who live in the fucking house, not the ghosts.
Yeah.
That's the joke, right? Like, that's kind of the whole thing. Like, right. So, but no, like, I see all those little elements. I seen all those little nuggets there, and coming from my, like I said, I reverse engineered it in my head, and I'm just like, yeah, now I'm curious. What is the other version of Beetlejuice we never saw? Hell, there's even a cut of this probably that we never saw. That's what I'm saying. It's like, not only is that original script, there's also what didn't make it into this movie now, because I'm watching this and I'm like, this had a hack job done on the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of this movie. Big time. Because we have no background on these characters whatsoever, but yet we have things that refer to other things that we don't get a setup for.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is she her sister?
Yeah, because it never says how they're related. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just... No, I really want to know the backstory or see the deleted stuff that I can get it. I get it. They probably saw what Michael Keaton was doing on, when they were making the movie and how great he was as Beetlejuice and everything. And so they probably cut it down to the best they could to get to him quicker. But yeah, now I'm very curious. Very curious.
I'm sure the studio said, A, it's a comedy, and B, the movie's called Beetlejuice, and you don't have him until X time. Get him in the movie sooner.
Yeah.
And I think that, that's part of the reason because they reshot, like, originally, I think and this is something I do know, in the original cut, the first time we see him is in that ad. But notice in this version, there's actually one scene that I didn't mention that he is in before that, because it's actually not Michael Keaton. That's why. He did the voiceover, but it's not Michael Keaton. The first time we see him where he gets to fly.
Oh, yeah.
That was a reshoot to get Beetlejuice in the movie a little sooner.
That makes sense.
I remember reading that somewhere. It says it in the commentary or something like that somewhere. No, there's actually no commentary, so it can't be the commentary. But maybe it's on IMDb or something like that. I know that stuck with me because I know that was a reshoot, the Zagnut scene.
Yeah.
Hey, come here. Quick.
Yeah,
you want something to nosh?
Yeah, Zagnut.
This.
According to Brian Barth, he said apparently in the original script there was a second Dietz child and Beetlejuice wanted to kill them and was homicidal.
See, there you go. There's another.
It'd be interesting.
Maybe where Ortho come in. Maybe Ortho was the other child in the other version, and they just made him the interior decorator.
Yeah, maybe. You'll have to reach out to script and see if you can figure something out.
It's hard to see if we can find the other version. But anyway, Runner, I'm sorry because I know you got to get some shit done. So what'd you have next, bro?
What you got, Runner?
This next one, well, this is probably gonna be more of a conversation between me and Tom. I don't think Greg has seen this movie yet.
Fucking sucks.
Okay, so I have finally watched this movie that Tom absolutely loves, and I will say this much for now: I did not enjoy it as much as Tom. But that being said, it did come in with my Shout Factory shipment.
Wait, you didn't enjoy it as much as me?
No, I did not enjoy it as much.
I know what movie you're talking about. I haven't
You're
got
no
it yet.
longer my rejected redheaded stepchild.
Not a red.
Now you're just
Okay.
flat out nothing to me. I don't even know what it is. Yeah.
I know what it is.
You sure?
Yeah, it's that with what's his name, Carradine in it.
Damn it, you fucking asshole.
Oh
Yep.
No.
No.
Oh, okay. I understand.
I mean, is it a fun watch? Yes. But okay, listen, this is my problem. The way you like the way I heard, like, I was listening to your review, Tom, and everything.
Don't trust my reviews.
Well, no, well, here's the thing. Like, I had too many high expectations for this movie. I was expecting.
I can see why.
I was expecting something really stupid and batshit crazy. I mean,
it was.
It was, but in this, I thought it was.
I
gonna
oversold
be like,
it. I get it. That's kind of the gimmick.
like,
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Like the trailer. Honestly, the trailer is somewhat better than this. My biggest problem with this. Okay, my biggest problem with this movie is the pacing is so fucking slow.
It is bad. The editing is kind of bad. Yes.
And okay, and speaking of editing, there's one edit in particular that does not match at all.
No, because it had two different editors working on it. But go ahead and tell me which one. I wonder if it's the same one. If I noticed.
I'm probably gonna do a hard time really describing the scene, but like David Carradine goes outside, and then the very next scene he's inside with a bag of.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember I had to rewind. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, there's some bad shit in this movie.
And
that's why I like them.
And I started doing more editing in my digital video class, so that really threw me off as someone who's.
You also have to understand, Runner, my excitement in the fact that everything that's actually on the cover is in the movie. Maybe not necessarily in that context, but it's in the movie. And a movie coming from that era, that's a rare thing. Like, you don't understand.
I understand it's
especially the reverse cover of that.
Oh yeah, I do like the reverse cover too. I just have the
the David Carradine version up.
Now see, it definitely would be up my alley. I know it would be.
You'll probably dig it more than he did.
Yeah, you will dig it more than me. Absolutely. My biggest problem though is really just the pacing issues.
Come on, lots of tits though.
Oh, that's great. Definitely. Don't get me wrong. Those are great.
There's no way there could be a TV out of this movie, but in the trailer, it's weird. It's like they must have shot some TV safe scenes. So
had to have.
And I do like David Carradine in this. I thought he was pretty good
for how bucked up he was.
Yeah, especially the fucking cast that he had.
Yeah, that just looks so bad.
And I kind of saw how they like cut corners into how he like fought and shit. Like he doesn't use his sword all that much because of his fucked up hand. Like that was kind of funny and fun to watch. But I mean, I don't hate.
They should have worked that into the story. They should have had it to where he is a swordsman in the beginning. He gets his hand all fucked up, so he has to start learning how to fight with his left hand. That would have been
that would have been such a better idea.
It would have, but also you got to understand this is a much higher caliber. Even though how bad, like how shitty of an edit it is, and how piss poor of a production it was, compared to a lot of sword and sorcery movies that come out of these guys. This is actually much better than some of the other ones. So you also have to look at for. I've watched a lot of shit.
So
I watched a lot of garbage where it's not even fun in like the rambunctious way like this one will.
Speaking of garbage, that's one of my next picks is going to be. But go ahead.
And I also kind of wish that the lizard creature was. I wish the lizard creature had a little more screen time. I feel like he was very underused.
He was kind of cool considering the budget they had, right?
Oh yeah, he was cool, and like that thing was like that was like hilarious at the same time, but like, I mean, you know,
Did you get what I was saying by the convolution of the whole plot at the end? Like to the kidnapping plot? Like it was really fucking convoluted and it doesn't make sense until the movie plays out. You're just kind of like, huh? Okay.
yeah, there were some parts where I was like kind of lost, and I was like, I think I think it has to do more so with the pacing of this movie. I think like it goes so it drags for me, honestly.
I can understand that. Me, I don't that like
I thought
I can see
things were
that
gonna.
not bothering me as much as it does you, is what I'm trying to say.
I can't say it bothered me. It's just like, I mean, I don't know. I had pretty high expectations. I thought this was gonna be like super batshit crazy. The pacing was gonna be quicker than what I expected, and all of
Maybe for a
that.
70s film, it is a bit quicker than I'm used to. So maybe if I did, because I don't remember if I said it was quick paced or not.
You didn't say
I,
anything about the pacing, I don't
okay.
think.
Yeah, I don't really recall saying it was very quick paced at all, but yeah.
I mean,
I remember it being shoddily edited. Like it has a very weird pacing because of the editing, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that the editing is definitely very. I mean, yet again, I didn't expect the editing to be like great, but well, I'll say this: would I watch this the second time? Yes, just to kind of
But
like
I mean, you got to admit
go
the
back.
boobs were great, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I knew the boobs were gonna be great though, Greg. That's the only difference.
You know what I love about watching these kind of movies is I know for a fact that this movie funded David Carradine's cocaine and fucking drinking and hooker habit for another few months.
That's great.
That's the beauty of this movie.
And I really liked him in this.
And I want to believe he's got a bunch of illegitimate children out there.
He probably does.
No, I mean the man didn't live long enough. It's sad.
No, he didn't.
I want to believe that he lived wild and hard. We know he
Yeah.
did on his own, but
Yeah. I got to pick that one up because I know I'd probably be in Tom's boat with that movie. That'd be something I'd be like, that's my prized possession.
Yeah.
Not prized possession, but you know what I mean.
I don't know. I feel like I expected a little more from this, but like, and I don't want to say I'm disappointed. I think no, disappointed is not the right word. That's too strong.
I guarantee you nobody's expectations are ever going to live up to one of my batshit crazy reviews. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Red Letter Media reviewed Evil Tunes on their Halloween episode.
Oh,
and
did
I think
they?
I did a much better breakdown than they did, if you ask me.
Did they like it?
They liked it better than I did.
Better than you did. I do want to see Evil Tunes. I do want to see it, but we'll see.
I'm not saying they watched our video or anything like that. I'm not trying to say they.
Oh yeah,
out,
no, I get like, yeah.
It's pretty easy to get to some of those places with that movie. This movie though was at least fun. Unlike Evil Tunes, I felt like I got ripped the fuck off.
Yeah. But Runner, tell me.
I guess that's the question. Do you feel like you got ripped off, Runner?
Yeah,
considering how limited edition that is.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Do you feel like you got ripped off?
That's a really good question. I mean, being a limited edition thing, no, because I know it's going to go up in price at some point, probably. So
good answer.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like one.
And if you feel like you want to get rid of it, you'll be able to.
Yeah, exactly. Because
you could probably sell it on eBay for like 2 or 3 times what you paid for it.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Plus, I mean, this thing's free on YouTube, kids. Just
are they out of print already? I can't remember because I know they only made 1,000 or 1,500. I can't remember.
They did 1,500 of those.
It doesn't say it's out of print. Same with Space Truckers.
Or it's not out of stock yet or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised
Space Truckers. I think they did some more of those. I think
I was going to say because Space Truckers, man, I can't believe that didn't.
I think I heard they did like another 500. I think the first run did. I think they did another 500.
Okay, that's good because that's a great movie.
What I heard, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because I think they did the same thing they did with the Doctor Strange one.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
Because that one they expanded, I think, by another 5 or 1,000. I can't remember which.
I couldn't get the Doctor Strange one in time, but I'll say this. I am kind of glad I own this movie at the same time, because I do plan on being a filmmaker in the future, and I would like to learn and expand from different types of movies, ones that are great, amazing, and ones that are batshit crazy or shit. You know what I mean?
I specialize in cheesy bad B movies. That's my favorite. So
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, what I love about this era we have right now is through these boutique labels and such, is a movie like that. You're not going to, I don't even think that made its way to DVD, did it?
no,
I'm not even
Because
sure.
I think we're finally getting some titles that I
That
mean, I may be wrong, it may have, but it does seem like we're starting to get some titles on 4K that we never even got on DVD.
Mhm.
So
if I remember correctly, that was like because Shout bought a large portion of the Roger Corman collection, and that's Roger Corman.
yeah.
And
I
from
I
what
didn't see
like,
in the,
huh?
What was that?
I didn't see Roger Corman's name in this thing.
No, but I think it was in his collection.
Yeah, it's part of his collection.
And I think that's one of the
Okay.
reasons why it's a limited thing is they probably had to pay a shit ton or could only do so many or something for
Yeah.
the rights.
That
Because
makes
yeah,
sense.
for the Corman, certain Corman ones, they like that's why Piranha and shit I think will always be in print by them. I'm surprised they haven't done Death Race 2000 yet. I'm
surprised on that one.
waiting
Yeah,
because I paid way too much for the Blu-ray I got now, but I'm glad I bought it when I did because it's probably worth 3 times that. But because it's been out of print for like I think 10 years now or better.
yeah.
Because that was the old Cult Classics release of it, and it has not had a Blu-ray since. And I'm like, what is up with that? Is it tied up somehow in some kind of fucking red tape or something? Because I can't
That is weird.
believe because that's one of his most famous ones.
Yeah, that's Carradine and Stallone and yeah.
And that's
that would
actually a really
definitely-
good movie, Runner.
Yeah.
I'm not blowing smoke up your ass on that
No,
one.
that
was
is a good
fun
one.
movie.
Yeah.
What movie again?
Death
Sorry.
Race 2000, the original.
Okay, I'll look into it.
They actually remade it with Jason Statham.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And I might get Piranha on 4K because I did see
Do you
some copies
know-
at my Best Buy.
Tim, do you know what rights are keeping it out of play
That's what I
right
was
now?
gonna say.
Because I'm curious myself, just so I would have an answer in the future. But yeah, because besides Piranha and a couple other ones, that's what I was saying is that's one of Corman's biggest movies. So I can't
Yeah.
believe it's not.
I know. Didn't they make an actual sequel to it though? Like a
I
real
think
actual
he
sequel?
did, but it was really crappy from what I heard.
Yeah.
Like it was really cheesy and straight to video kind of thing. It was after the Stray the movie, I think.
Yeah, it was way after.
Yeah.
Rainer Brad, Night Riders, do you mean the one with Tom Savini? Because that's on Blu-ray, if that's one you mean.
But it's out of print, I believe, now.
Oh.
That was a Shout one, and I think that might have been I'm trying to think, is that a Corman one that he produced or not? Greetings, Bat.
Yeah, greetings, Bat. Welcome.
Okay, well, Runner had to leave after this one. Was there anything else you wanted to say about this movie? Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, there's nothing much I gotta say about it. Yeah, I mean, I had a little too much. I had high expectations the way Tom kind of pointed out, and I mean, I don't hate it again, but I didn't love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You also got to remember I'm old.
Yeah. And it's a shame you're going to miss this next movie I have because it's just as cheesy and probably way worse than that.
Okay.
Lay it on.
I might watch a little bit going forward, but I gotta get this assignment done.
All right. Have a good one, man.
Thanks.
Everybody sub the Runner. Check him out. All right. Now my movie here, I bought this at a thrift store. Actually, I bought the 2 movies with the same name. This movie and another movie have the same name, but they're two parts. Speaking of Roger Corman, the other one's a Roger Corman one I haven't watched yet. I was actually going to do a video on this, but this is a DVD. And it's called Breeders. I don't know if you can see that. I don't want to get the glare on it.
I think I have that. Let me.
This one here. This movie is weird, and it's hard to find real information on this movie. About this movie, it's like it's almost non-existent almost when you look it up. It's fun. The alien looks great in the movie, by the way. The alien does look great, and it cracks me up too. I don't know if you guys can see. It says an only one manned. It's got a. It's supposed to say only one man, but it says one manned with a D on it. And it basically is like a sci-fi movie, like you would see on the Sci-Fi Channel with really bad cheesy effects. This alien and this woman crash on Earth in front of an all girls school, college, and then there's a arts professor there who starts banging one of the girls, a blonde chick. There's a shower scene where there's a bunch of naked girls, full frontal, and the guy starts making necklaces out of the meteor that falls, and he starts selling them to the girls. And then the alien has this one girl that he's with. He's using her to lure people to him, and somehow he knew that this guy was going to make necklaces out of the crystals from the thing, and he starts controlling the girls and bringing them to him and putting his eggs inside of them. And so this man, the art professor,
I was thinking of a different movie. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, there's two of them. I was going to do a video. There's another one. It's an old '80s movie called Breeders.
No, I don't even have anything surprisingly called Breeders in my collection here. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then, yeah, basically, this is a really, really bad, cheesy sci-fi movie. If it wasn't for the nudity, this would definitely be something you've seen on it. And I've looked this up. I can hardly find anything about this movie. It was made in '97, I believe. 96. It says it's supposed to be in Boston, but it's not. It's Isle of Man, and they all have really bad American accents. Really bad American accents. It slips, like everybody slips constantly. It's just all of a sudden it becomes British from time. But yeah, but the alien looks really great. The alien is nice. That's probably where they spent most of their money, is just with this. Is that the one with the alien spooge pool and the naked models? It sounds like it could be, but not quite. I think that's the other Breeders. This one is from the 90s. Yeah, which is weird because that's what whenever you look up Breeders, you get the 80s movie, which I think is a Roger Corman movie in and of itself, or a Charles Band maybe. Maybe it's a Charles Band movie. It's either Charles Band or Roger Corman, the other one from the 80s. But you look this up, that's what you get. This you can hardly find anything on. It's weird. But it has some cool moments in it, especially when they're stalking the alien under the school, the guy and the girl and the stuff. And then it's like I said, it's got some great nudity in it, but it's only for like one time. It's just a quick thing. Like I said, if you take out like the 2 minutes of nudity, this movie is definitely you would see on the Sci-Fi Channel, because the CGI is really, really bad. But the alien is pretty cool. But other than that, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird, low budget, cheesy sci-fi 90s B movie. I'm kind of glad I have it. I am kind of glad I have it, but I don't know if I could recommend this movie.
Yeah, I think I may have seen the other one, and it might actually be Charles Band, like you said. I don't think it's
Roger
Corman.
I think it's Charles Band the more I think about it, yeah.
But I don't have either version, but
I bought them both at a thrift store, and I was going to do like a video where I compared the two, because I was like, oh, that movie's called Breeders and that movie's called Breeders, and they both feature women that are being abducted by aliens who get naked. I'm going to do a video on that. But yeah, I don't know if I can recommend this one, because but if you find it, you might want to get a hold on to it, because I did see on Amazon these are going for like $50. I paid $5, but on eBay
it did get a Blu-ray release at one point.
Are you sure? Because I looked it up, I couldn't find a Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray.com, or at least it has ones there. Maybe it's never been released, but oh yeah, no, it's been released. You can get it for $20 on Blu-ray.
I didn't know that, because I've looked for the Blu-ray.
Dark Force Entertainment, 1997, 98 minutes.
What's it? What did you say? What kind of entertainment?
Dark Force Entertainment.
This says artistry, home entertainment, and Pika viewing. Transatlantic. It doesn't have dark whatever on it.
It's the same cover you just showed me, though.
Is it?
Yeah, here.
It's
It looks
weird.
pretty close. Yeah, it's the same cover.
I've looked up this movie. I can't find jack about it.
Yeah, so you can get it right now on Amazon for $20.
There you go. I didn't see that. I even looked it up on Amazon.
Here.
Yeah, that's the other.
There's the other one,
Breeders.
86.
That's the 80s one.
And Tim, I saw that too, said it was Charlie Band. Yeah, that's what I thought it was too.
Yeah.
So I think I've seen that, but I don't have that one, surprisingly. That's
It's
probably
weird.
Olive, though.
Peak of you.
I don't like Olive.
Yeah, Olive is not. No.
I don't like Olive.
But yeah, I just don't know if I could recommend. The women are really hot in it, though. I'll give them that much. They really cast some great looking women in it. But yeah, the alien's probably the best thing this movie's got going for it. And the hot blonde. But yeah, that was it. I just saw it at like a thrift store. It's two different breeders, and I was like, I'm just going to grab it and see what they're like. But yeah, I watched that over Halloween. I kind of wish I would have watched something a little better, but it had its moments. But yeah, if you want to go out to your next one, Tom, you go out to your next one.
Sure, we can do that. Let's see here. Well, we'll get out of the Halloweeny mood first, and then we'll get into the one that we have is similar.
Similar.
I watched, of course, generally a Halloween tradition, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And this here I have is the digibook version from a while back now. But believe it or not, I believe this is one of the earlier 4K masters, if I'm not mistaken. Now, some of the special features weren't carried over to this from the DVD, which is sad. But this is the same version that's in circulation today. The only difference is it's had like 3 different covers since then. And yeah, no, it holds up still. And this print for this movie, as old as it is for Blu-ray, I think this was from a 4K scan from the way it looks. It looks really good. So it would be nice to get a 4K of this, Disney.
Yeah, good luck trying to convince Disney of that.
You're so fucking woke now.
It's got the transvestite from Transylvania.
Yeah, right.
Come on, bitches.
There's a lot of women who couldn't wear the shit that Tim does in this movie. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And wear it as well.
I mean, the legs on that, man.
It's a classic. But not only did I watch that, I think I may have mentioned this to you before. You're aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are not. And I'm glad Tim is here because he gets to see now what I got. And I'm not lying that I'm a fan. I have the imported. I also have it on DVD. I didn't grab my DVD, unfortunately. I'm stupid. Shock Treatment, the sequel to Rocky Horror. Not only do I have that version, I also have, still in plastic, the alternate cover. There was 2.
See, I've never seen Shock Treatment.
Now, you've seen Rocky Horror, right?
Yeah. Been a while, but I have seen it.
Okay. It's not exactly a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's an equal.
No.
That was the tagline.
Oh, that was the tagline.
Basically, it's not a sequel. It's not a prequel. It's an equal.
It's an equal.
It took a while to catch on with people. It's starting to get a bit of a cult following. It even took me a couple times. And I was like, the first time I saw it, I'm like, wow, this is weird. It's different. So it's only PG. It's not nearly as racy as Rocky Horror. Mm-hmm. It has a completely different tone. The only returning characters are Brad and Janet, and the 2 that are getting married in the beginning of the first one. Now, Betty and
was that like Susan Sarandon's character and stuff?
Well, she's not in it. Her character is actually played by Jessica Harper in this one. Oh. And but the guy who's in the first movie who's getting married in the beginning, he's in it. And the investigator's in it. So those 5 characters are all in the movie from the other movie. So that's their carryover. But this movie is actually way ahead of its time. And according to Tim, I looked into Death Race 2000. Up in the U.S., a copyright search. Pacific Trust owned it as of 2000. I don't know what that is. Along with Paramount. Oh, Paramount co-owns it. That might be why. They must
There
have
you
some
go.
distribution deal with it. Anyway, but yeah, so this movie is without giving too much away, about Brad and Janet, and we get to see that Denton is actually, the whole town goes to like this TV thing. It's way ahead of its time. It like kind of predicts what do you call it? Reality
TV.
TV. It predicts some of the trends and 80s fashion, to believe it or not. And it just has, the music is better than it sounds. Like at first you're kind of off put because it's not the same as Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Because like you go in with a certain expectation. But then after rewatching it and seeing it a couple times, I've really come to love it. And in some ways it has, I wouldn't say the songs are better, but it probably has more good songs in a way, sort of, than Rocky Horror to a point, or at least a more variation on. Like Rocky Horror has a lot more memorable songs, a few more memorable people in it. This movie though is a lot better than I think it got credit for at the time, and it really has gained an audience because of that.
Is it similar to like, well, not like it's similar to, but is it like Halloween 3, to bring it back to that, is like, not that it was outside of the time, but like it was, misinterpreted because people had the expectation of Rocky Horror Picture Show, and then it got something a little different.
But the weird thing is I think it, I don't know how to put this. I'm not sure there was a way of making this movie a successful sequel to Rocky Horror.
Right.
Which is good that they didn't call it Rocky Horror Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time when they were going to do a direct sequel. It was going to be about Janet being pregnant with Tim Curry's kid from the first movie.
Yeah.
But that changed quickly. And this was just kind of it almost feels like a weird project that may have been something else. And then maybe Richard O'Brien, the guy who's behind it all, who also plays Riff Raff in the first movie, he had decided that maybe he was going to just kind of reinterpret this as a Rocky Horror show by making some of the characters the same. Other than that, though, it's a very misunderstood musical. It's very much of its time. I know Tim is a fan of it. He's in the chat. Him and I might be one of the only people in the world who know about it that are watching this right now.
I've never heard of it, to be honest. I never have.
I really don't want to give away too much of the plot. But yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. I like it a lot, and I made a double feature out of it this year. So there you go.
There you go. That's pretty cool. I have to check into that one because I've never heard of or seen that one, but I have seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. But it's been a long time since I've seen that one. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'll have to look it up. Have you seen the 2016 version of Rocky Horror? I have not.
I watched some clips of it, and I was not impressed.
Who is in that one?
Well, Tim Curry played the investigator in that one, but otherwise it was completely new people in it. And maybe Barry Bostwick, I think, had a cameo or something like that. But no, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, I probably will not watch the 2016 one.
Oh wow, we got another person who's seen it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually an import. It has been released on DVD in the US, but not on Blu-ray. Only on the I'm surprised Shout Factory or something like that hasn't put this out yet. But now it's under Disney's purview, so
yeah, so good luck with that. Maybe Criterion. You never know with all the Criterion crap they're doing now.
It would be perfect for a Criterion one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And honestly, Rocky Horror deserves a Criterion.
That's what I figured. Do the Rocky Horror. Maybe they'll do like the Shafting, give you the Rocky Horror and then the shock treatment.
Yeah, and then they just release a Blu-ray shock treatment because it hasn't even got a Blu-ray release in the US yet.
Yeah.
I don't see this getting a 4K. Really. But Rocky Horror deserves a 4K.
Yeah, you would think they would be on that. Yeah. It's crazy. Sean, I'm with you on that. That's the best one, but there's also the Robert Downey Jr. one.
Yep.
What's that called? Home for the Holidays. Is that what that's called? There's
I swear there's
Son-in-Law,
at least a couple other ones. Yeah, Son-in-Law. We were
Dutch.
just
I
talking
love
about this
Dutch.
too. Oh, Dutch. I forgot about
I
Dutch.
love
Yeah.
Dutch. Dutch is OOP. It's hard to find. But that's about it. That's usually the ones I usually watch around Thanksgiving.
I
All
swear there's like
those.
one or two more, but yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
thinking
Well,
of
the
them right
Charlie Brown
now.
Thanksgiving, of course, but
Well, obvious ones, but I mean
yeah.
like a movie.
Um, I'm sure there's something out there I'm forgetting, but yeah, typically those. Yeah.
Well, we got some movies here that talk about big meals.
Yeah. Do it. I mean, you probably should show yours first because mine is.
Well, do you want to do them both together? I mean, can. Okay,
It's
well,
because it's not the original. Just so you know.
yeah, I know you have what you have, so
Yeah.
all right, I can go double. I can double up here because do you have anything else besides that?
No, just have this because I
Okay, so
brought it
that's
to
your
go
last
along
one.
with what you got.
All right, yeah, well, we do these as we can do these as a one up. All right, so I think I don't know if I brought this on here before or not. I don't think I have. But for some reason, I feel like I've at least shown it once or twice. But well, we'll do it this way because I know I haven't shown the other version. I should have dug it out, but I actually had the version that came in the truck before, the limited edition one that actually came with a bloody apron and shit. Yeah, so that's the American release from the last time that was from a 4K master, and this is a pretty damn good release. This is the disc in this is the version that's in most releases that you'll get nowadays, depending on which version it is, how many special features you get with it. And at that time, one of the special features it didn't have, even though it's full of them, was this, which is a really great documentary, not amazing, but great, called The Family Portrait. And it got for some reason, Blu-ray release, even though it's in standard definition, no matter what you do. But it was kind of short-lived because it's actually in this collection that you get from Turbine, which is 4K, but it doesn't have UHD on, or it doesn't have HDR on it. But it actually has this documentary on it, and funnily enough, it looks better and sounds better on here.
Huh.
Go figure.
I
don't know if they did an up convert, but the sound, what could they do with the sound? It just sounds better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Even though this claims to be from digitally remixed and digitally remastered, this was damn near unwatchable once I popped this version in. Yeah, just to show this off real quick. It's a nice steel book.
It's a nice
Nothing
one.
on the back really, but of course inside you got the 2 discs, and actually I think there's 3 discs in here because here's
They
the
stack
4K side. Yeah, there's that side that's got the Hitchhiker. Or actually, I think they gave him a name in the second movie, but I can't remember what it was. And then, because that was funny. We'll get to that in a second here, but yeah, this was the version that came out before from Turbine, a very good release, even though it doesn't have. I don't think it has HDR on it. But we did finally get, and sadly I didn't get any of the fancy steelbooks because they did have fancier steelbooks than this, and I didn't even get a slip cover for this, which is supposed to come with.
Yeah.
But sadly, I did get this. Finally, found it and got because it went fast.
Yeah.
This is the Turbine re-release, and the main difference on this version is that it has the Dolby Vision and HDR on it. Other than that, I think it's identical.
Now
I do believe they redid the Blu-ray in this version.
Oh.
So it comes from a new, I think, because it comes from a different scan. But the other discs, I think, are exactly. Thank you, Kitty. He's trying to knock all this crap down on me. Yeah, because I think they're the same discs otherwise. Yeah, because even the redo of this looks the same, I think, was when I just showed you guys. But actually, no, the Blu-ray is different because the Blu-ray now has the same as this art. So anyway, so yeah, that's that version, and it looks good. It's a really good scan of the film. It's from the negative and whatever exists of it, what's left, as far as I can tell. Looks like Toby Hooper, whoever had it. Actually, Toby didn't have control over it, but whoever did have control over it must have kept it in pretty good shape over the years.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm going to, although Mike is not so sure about this, Mike Joseph, I'm willing to bet that the version that was just announced from Dark Sky is probably going to be the same exact.
That's what I'm thinking
4K
myself.
version.
Yeah.
I have good reason to probably believe that. I'll double check on that, but I may have a source that can tell me one way or another definitively. I'll find out for you guys. But no, it's really well done. Really, even the one with before the HDR is really good, actually. Like, honestly, because I think this is when I brought it on before. I think I just quick checked it because I said I didn't watch it, but I think I quick checked. I said to just tell people if it was worth it or not. Maybe is that what I did, Greg?
Maybe, I think so.
Because have you seen the other one before that I brought on?
Actually, I don't think I've seen any of
Well,
the
maybe
4K
I didn't.
ones.
Maybe I
Yeah.
didn't. Maybe
I have the Dark Skies Blu-ray steelbook of that, but I don't have those. But yeah, I don't remember you ever bringing them on.
And that Blu-ray edition's pretty good. I mean, this is a 16 millimeter film. It's only gonna look so good.
Yeah.
But it does look good, and the sound is amazing on this disc. Like the Dolby Atmos mix. Oh my god! When they're dragging Grandpa, it sounds like it's above you.
Nice.
Oh my god! It's like, oh, and I mean, this movie, of course, is a tour de force. It's a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
It's in, I believe, it's in the registry already, so it deserves to be.
It's great. Yeah.
As I've said before, there's a through line directly to movies today, like Saw and all that kind of shit that that exists because of this movie. And it is a brilliant, relentless film that the people in it probably went through just as much hell as the characters did, almost. Just short of
like
death.
with the chick that actually cut her finger, the main chick.
Oh god, there was so much more than that.
Oh
The
yeah,
shit they went through to make
there's
this
so
movie,
much more.
man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, first of all, they shot it in 100-some degree weather in Texas in the middle of summer. A lot of that. Then there was the famous dinner scene.
Yeah,
I can't remember the actual number of it, but they call it that scene, and they actually had a commemorative thing where they said, I survived scene, whatever it was. I think it was scene 36 or something like that. And what that was the dinner scene. It's the whole climax scene just before they go outside. And they had to shoot that all in one night for a couple different reasons. And when I mean one night, they shot 36 hours straight in the heat. They were shooting up the sausages with formaldehyde because they were rotting in front of them. Like, people were puking and shit.
Yeah.
It got bad. So they were, not only that, here's the other thing. They had most of the bones and shit you guys see in this movie, they're real.
Yeah, I knew that.
Some of the skulls obviously are not, but a lot of them are Indian skulls, they ship in. But like all the animal bits and pieces, there was a guy who would go around and literally pick up carcasses and shit and make all these, like, he would go to like all these boneyards and stuff where they would do cattle bones and all that kind of shit. And not only that, they wanted some animals and other stuff around in the set for certain things. And I guess they didn't plan properly because they had somebody, I can't remember, one of the actresses, I think, was also a vet or something like that, or not an actress, one of the production people was also a vet. So she would bring in these dead animals for them for various things. And they stunk everything up. And they tried to burn them.
That's something you don't do.
So a bad situation went to really worse because they didn't realize or think about, okay, remember when we talked about Return of the Living Dead last week? You know, the weasel scene? There's a reason why they took him over there, because you can't just burn live things. Like, you need a high, like, there's a reason why you have to have an oven like that to burn flesh. Because it doesn't just burn, right? It's mostly liquid. You got to melt that shit and burn it, right? You got to burn all the moisture out first. Okay, these dumb shits built a fucking fire and started throwing these dead animal carcasses on the fire that were already rotting.
It's like the scene in the Night of the Living Dead remake when they're just burning the bodies.
Yeah. So this smoke, the smell of rotting, decaying, burning animals with the hair, all that shit mixed in, started billowing in the house. So you had another situation where people were just puking and throwing. Then they went through hell to make this fucking movie. They did. These people, and they never got a goddamn thing for it. Nobody did. Really.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because it was a big fucking scam. They found out one of the companies that owned half the rights in the film was actually the mafia.
It's true. It's true.
So when they went to get their money, the mafia's like, "What money?
You didn't make no money.
Didn't make no money. This is Fugazi." You know, it's like so they found out not only were they getting screwed out of that, but they found out that they were getting points in half of the company. So, and this movie was a huge success. Like, you got to remember, this even predates Halloween, right? This was the first movie to really do this. This was Texas Chainsaw is basically the Easy Rider of horror movies.
Yep.
People don't give it enough credit for that. Like, this movie was one of the first movies as an independent film like that to basically make the equivalent of $100 million at the box office at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And for that to do that and nobody to see a dime, there was a lot of money laundering going on. So there was a lot of lawsuits involved in this movie. People did finally get a little bit of money out of it, but not nearly what they should have. Tobe Hooper, of course, was the one who probably got screwed the most. But yeah, they thought they were buying these percent. They were getting net because, like, if they would stay extra days, do extra jobs, all that kind of shit, take a break up front, then they would get points. What they didn't realize is they were getting half points in the company, in the movie, because they set up two companies for the movie is what happened. Because the way these things work, sorry, I should explain this better. When you do a movie, you see at the end of a movie where they have, like, you know, this was a Leatherface production. You know, it's not the actual title of the movie, but it's like a da-da-da production.
Yeah, something very similar to the
Limited, LTD, LCD. Because what they do is every movie is basically like its own business in and of itself. So what they do is they categorize the movie under a production entity. It's kind of a tax shelter thing too. But anyway, that beside. So what it is then, so you have that company, which is actually what deals with the money in and out of the movie. And they split this movie over two different companies. So the people were only getting points from this one company. So they didn't realize. So they're like, oh, they're doing the math. They're like, I should be getting $20,000. So they went to get their money like, actually more like 10, but it's actually going to be more like 5. You know, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so like so you get a percentage of a percentage of a percentage. And then like, so people are like, wait a minute, I thought I was going to be able to buy a fucking house or a car with this. Now I'm not even going to be able to make my fucking rent.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And so like this was a movie where a lot of people got sued, and for years nobody involved really got anything. And the sad part is it didn't have a Jamie Lee Curtis. No. It didn't have somebody who was able to launch a career off of it. So I do feel bad for a lot of the people involved, Tobe Hooper included, even though he did get a career off it.
Yeah.
But that kind of brings us to the second film, right? Because that's where he made sure his ass and everybody got paid.
Yeah. And
even though they kept getting their budget cut.
Yeah.
Go ahead and lead this one.
Yeah, but this is what I got finally good for that. But Brian Barth, I would think that Toby went the PG because he actually saw the first movie as a comedy, much like the second one.
Well, and at that time, here's the funny thing about it. Watch it again now. There's hardly any blood. There's especially no bloodletting really in it outside of the one scene with the hand. Right. Where the hitchhiker cuts his hand. Mm-hmm. Because it's all off screen. Like, because the guy who plays Leatherface, Gunnar, what's his first name?
Gunnar Hansen.
Or Gunnar Hansen. Hansen's his last name. Sorry.
Yeah.
Gunnar Hansen has said time and time again, anytime somebody finds out he was in that movie and he was Leatherface, they talk about the hook coming through the girl. And he's like, it never went through the girl. Like, oh yeah, I fucking remember. It came right through her chest and busted her. It's like, no, it did. Maybe in one of the sequels I wasn't in, but it didn't in the first movie. There's hardly any blood at all in that first movie. In fact, I know that for a fact because I had to be the one to put her on that hook. Mm-hmm. And it was a very meticulous thing they did. She actually had a harness they built and all this shit. And they flipped the hook around, and the hook actually was holding her up. But what it was when you see the little chunk when she gets pulled, that was the line getting tugged. And he goes, that was just so visceral in their minds that people created that shit.
Yeah, it's like all in your head, man.
It's all in your fucking head. Even when the first kill comes in, when he comes in the door, all you hear is dunk. He knocks him over the head once, falls to the fucking ground, pulls him in. That's the most you see of the blood is just a little bit on his head, slams the door. Mm-hmm. None of that. You see so much more, and your brain creates so much more.
Yeah, it's just like all in your like Jaws. I always take it back to Jaws because it's like just like Jaws.
And it's not so much the music as it is the sound effects in this movie, because it's the donk on the head, right?
The boom. Yeah,
and then
the
him
loud
hitting the
noise.
ground, and then Leatherface coming in, pulling him, the sliding, and then the whole trash. Right? Like that whole thing is, and it happens so fucking fast. It happens in a third of the time we just explained it. That you're just like, holy shit, your mind creates a lot more than you just fucking saw.
Yeah.
You're just like, what the fuck just happened? That guy just got taken the fuck out by a monster. And then when he comes out with the chainsaw the first time, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That motherfucker's got a chainsaw.
And speaking of which,
it's in the title, so it does live up to that.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
And speaking of a little humor, so let's lead into that. Sorry.
Yeah, speaking of which, this nowhere near as good as what you just described, but I keep it for certain reasons. But it's a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Oh Lord!
I keep this, because this came with a huge big box set.
That is actually a really good version, because I'm not sure if you can get all those special features anymore. To be honest,
I don't think you can. But
I think that was the only version you could get with that, because that was one of the first times when they started doing the 1-disc and the 2-disc sets where they would release.
Yeah, I had to get it because I really dug the box set here. But this is a still thing here. Then it
I don't hate the remake, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't hate it either, but it's not. Yeah, it will never compare to the.
See, now I thought you had something else, but this is
no. I just figured I grabbed it because I knew you had to see, what you're going to show.
Because they have that scene in the remake, but the scene in the remake is basically like a very visceral, showing all the blood, and it's like drug out.
Yeah, and then I got the evidence thing, the pictures.
That's a nice set. I wish I never did get that. And I wish I had.
So, it's pretty cool.
I don't hate that remake, but I don't have it anymore. I still haven't bought it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It's as far as remakes goes, it's one of the better ones. But it's much like I've talked with Adam and you. It's just like there's something about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre where it feels like those people. Like they're not models. They're not like supermodels and like Jessica Alba and stuff. They're like they feel like normal everyday people.
It's not nearly as memorable, though.
Yeah, and it's not nearly as memorable. But yeah, it's not, as far as like remakes, it's not bad. Arlie Emery's great in it. But yeah, I figured I'd bring this along to show off that because I knew you were going to bring the first one.
Maybe I should check it out. It's been like since it came out, however many years.
I mean, as far as like when you talked about the hook. The hook actually does go through the guy. You do see it pop out through him.
That's what I was thinking in this remake. It does.
Yeah. Because he puts the guy up on the hook.
I remember all the shit that we thought we saw in the original movie is actually in the remake, and that's one of the reasons why I'm just like, whatever with the remake.
Yeah, they get a little gorier in that because I agree with you. As disgusting as the original may seem, like you said, you don't really see much. Like in that one, you do see the hook go through the guy. You see him cut off the guy's leg. You see him hang the one guy up by his hands and take the chainsaw and cut him from his balls. And you see the guts fall out. So you see stuff. It gets a lot more visceral in that, and it is a very dirty movie. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's all right, but it's nowhere near. I can't say it's as good in the leagues as Part 2 or even the Matthew McConaughey one almost.
In an alternate universe, we had a much happier Rob Zombie who got to remake that movie instead of Halloween.
Exactly. I mean,
because honestly, I've seen all his movies. It screams like this guy should be making a Texas Chainsaw movie.
He literally made Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Devil's Reject and House of Thousand Corpse.
Honestly, he would probably make it a sequel because Chop Top may not be dead.
Yeah, Chop Top may not be dead. That's true. It's true.
They never said if he came back.
That's true.
We'll get into that later.
It's true. Yes. But yeah, I figured I'd bring that one along. I wish I would have grabbed my steelbook to show you my first one steelbook. I don't know if I've ever actually brought that on here.
I don't think I've seen the steelbook of that one, but I think I've seen it, but I don't think I've seen yours.
I can grab it real quick if you want, but it's going to take a minute.
I don't care. I can talk for a second.
Right, go ahead, talk for a minute. I'll be right back.
Now that Greg is gone, we can talk bad about him. Chad, hurry up and say stuff that's bad about him. I can't think of anything. Can you? Damn it. I thought this was going to be funner than this. I can do weird voices till he gets back. We can do that. Like, let's go dance the disco dance.
Do you like scary DVDs?
Come with me if you want to live.
What did I walk into?
I don't know, I ran out of things to say, so we were going to talk bad about you, and it just didn't work out well.
Oh, man. But yeah, I don't know if you saw my...
No, I've never seen that one.
You never seen...
I don't think I have. Actually, that's one I don't think I've seen at all.
This is from Dark Sky.
Yeah, it's the Dark Sky.
Yeah.
Which is, how many discs is that? Because that's the one.
It's just one. It's not much.
Oh, yeah.
It's not much.
Yeah, this one actually has the Blu-rays, 2 Blu-rays, a DVD, and then an extra DVD of, funnily enough, we talked about William Friedkin earlier.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember right, this is a pretty fun conversation because on this exclusive bonus disc that only came in this set, it's got Friedkin and Hooper. Conversation about Texas Chainsaw Massacre between William Friedkin and Tobe Hooper.
That's pretty
William
cool though.
Friedkin, yeah.
That's cool. But yeah, that's my so I'm waiting to see the US 4K because I did miss out on the Turbine one. So because I'm waiting to see if I can grab a hold of that one before it goes out quick.
Yeah, Steven's like, Greg's a stinky poopy head. Well, I was gonna say he probably smells funny, but I'm like, nah, he probably doesn't.
Like I forgot to mention earlier, I was telling her, I'm a little upset nobody made fun of me on my Top Gun review for
Probably
my
smells
opening.
like pine and tide.
Pine and tide. Smell like feet and ass.
a little bit of leather, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's an Old Spice man. I don't know.
Actually, I do have Old Spice deodorant stuff.
Where it goes.
Remember
when what's his face? Ash. Jesus Christ, I just forgot his name. Bruce Campbell. He used to do the Old Spice commercials for a while.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
In Maryland.
He's offended. You're offended. You're such a woke bastard.
I'm offended. I need that meme of that woman screaming.
You need a safe space.
But Brian Barth, to answer your question, I guess we might as well move on to that one if you're ready, Tom.
Well, yeah. Why is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 so much different? Well, it was 12 years after the movie, actually closer to, since it was shot in 72 and this came out in 86. Yeah, like 14 years almost after the fact. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, believe it or not, I like this movie better than the first one.
Now, I've heard a lot of people start coming around to that side.
Kind of do. And this has a lot of the same elements as the first movie too. But as you know, we got a very gorgeous, beautiful,
I love that Dennis Hopper on the back there.
Syndrome release. And it has all the Shout stuff on it. So don't worry, kids. It's been out of print now for a while. But all the Shout stuff is carried over to this. And a whole lot more.
Nice.
This is one of those releases that at the end of this year, I think we should do like an award show. Because this has got to be a nominee. It looks gorgeous. Honestly, I don't know if there's any shots that aren't from the negative. I'll be 100% with you. Because the weird thing is, I don't think there's any optical changes in this. Like, it doesn't even fade between scenes at all. The opening credits are all over a black screen, and it cuts flat to the movie starting. I think it's all hard cut through the whole movie. I think it's all the negative. Because this beauty. This is what movies are supposed to look like in 4K from this era. This movie proves how much DNR a lot of the studios and even some of the boutique companies are putting on their releases. Because if this has any DNR on it, it is of the subtlest nature. You get every little speck on this bitch. Like you see, because here's the thing is I can tell some of these 4K releases, they're putting a fake like 4K wash over it to make it look like you're seeing the grain like you're supposed to when it's not really there. Because it doesn't move quite right. It moves right here. Like this is, as far as the age, a reference quality disc almost. The only downside, I will say, is it has a very nice 5.1 mix that is not carried over here. This only has the stereo mix. It's nice, but that 5.1 mix had a little bit more oomph and space to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This, though, again, that's the only gripe I got about this release, man. Like, it looks gorgeous. And some people are going to say it looks grainy. It's supposed to be fucking grainy.
Exactly. That's. I hate when people bitch about the grain because I love the grain.
There's some people who are going to bitch, but I'm going to tell you right now, that is what you sacrifice for resolution. Because if they were to DNR this fucker, you would lose a lot of that resolution because there's a lot of dark scenes in this movie. A majority of this film is dark. It's got weird lighting. So some of the scenes are not going to look as clear as day as everybody wants them to be, but it's the way it's supposed to fucking look.
Right.
And I'll tell you, man, this movie has never looked better. This scan from before was from the inner positive. This makes that one look like dog shit.
Oh. Now I wonder if the price of that will go down now since this one is up.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Since it is so much better. I gotta buy it.
The only thing that has is the 5.1 mix. That's all it's got. That's not on here. This has everything plus some. And it is chock full of... I didn't even show you the discs, did I? It's also got other reversible art, too. I didn't show that.
Oh, that's cool.
Because I have, of course, I love that cover, but of course,
yeah, that's a nice one, too.
That
and the original, I like the original Breakfast Club one, too.
Yeah. Although that's not a bad one. Of a lot of these ones, this is some of the better art. See, Vinegar Syndrome, always.
Definitely. I think they get
Did I show the back?
Yeah, with the Dennis Hopper. I love that. I think they get the fact that of like the cover art, when people look for it, they actually get to understand. Oh.
So you've got 4K, which just has the movie and I think the commentaries on it. And then you got the Blu-ray, which has the movie, commentaries, shit ton of special. All the new special features are on here. All the carried over special features are on here, plus some other things like I think trailers and stuff that they may have been on the other one. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. So yeah, there's just a shit ton and it is packed to the brim. Yeah, exactly, Tim. If there's no grain, then it's been DNR'd to shit. Like a lot of Paramount titles lately.
Yeah.
And sure, just because DNR's gotten a little better to where you can't quite notice because it doesn't make everything look like plastic, it's still squeezing resolution out of the fucking picture. Like, this movie looks amazing considering it was shot in 1986 and shot in 12 weeks or whatever it was.
That's crazy. I've been wanting to get that because I know that was one of the OOP, much like the Return of the Living Dead, that I missed out on, and I've been wanting to get this Vinegar Syndrome, which it's going to take some wrangling because, like I said, this is started the holiday shopping season, so it's going to be harder to get some new releases.
Doesn't Vinegar usually do like a Black Friday sale?
Yeah, which is coming up very soon.
Hopefully it'll stay in print that long. I mean, you might not be able to get the hardcover with it or something like that, but and the slipcover perhaps. But
if I don't get that, that's fine. If I don't get the hardcover, as long as I have the movie,
it's good.
Yeah, because that's one I've really been wanting to get into my collection for quite some time. Because, like I said, I have the original, I have the remake. I would really like to get the actual second sequel to the movie. And
so, what do you think of Texas Chainsaw 2?
I like it. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's fun. It is a funner movie than the first movie, and I do like the fact that he went all balls to the wall comedy in the second one. It is definitely the better of the sequels, of any of the Texas Chainsaw sequels. Chop Top You get Chop
Bubba
Top.
got a girlfriend. Bubba
Yeah.
got a girlfriend.
Yeah, and
It's
Caroline
in the
Williams is in
air,
it. Miss
people
Hopper.
want it. I don't want to hear this. It's Nomland. Nomland. You know what's funny is I've seen this movie, God, a dozen fucking times. For some reason, it never fucking dawned on me that their brother, the hitchhiker, is that body
Oh, yeah,
that
really?
he's carrying around as a puppet through the whole movie. Yeah,
I
that's their
never,
brother.
I never even thought about that.
Him and Chop Top are twins, I guess.
Huh.
I did not know that until I watched it this time. It's in one of the makings of. They talk a little bit about it too, but like off cuff, and I'm like, wait a minute, they are. Holy shit, it is him. It's supposed to be him. Because I guess Toby couldn't find the actor at the time because he was going to have him be in the sequel as Chop Top, the twin brother that was in Vietnam at the time. That's why he's all hung up on Vietnam. He was in Nam during the first movie.
Makes sense. I did not know that.
As I said earlier, we never quite see if Chop Top dies or not, did we?
No, we do
He
not.
just fell in. We don't know.
You never know. I mean, and hey, he can always come back.
But hey, he could.
It's like I said, if any movie is screaming in a direct sequel for Rob Zombie to do, it is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he's friends with Bill Moseley.
He would have Chop Top in it, exactly. And that's let's be real, between him, like this is why I love this movie, is because Chop Top is a much better version of the hitchhiker character anyway. Because I like the hitchhiker, but he's a bit weird. This version, like Chop Top's funny. He's fun. You fucked up my Sonny Bono wig.
my Sonny Bono wig, Bubba. And it's like the dynamic between Leatherface and him as well. It's just
he just wanted to make it fun, man.
Yeah.
And he wanted to go balls to the wall. He did not know they were going to go unrated. Which was actually, I got to give Canon credit for that, right? Like, they actually didn't chop it down and they said, fuck it, we're going to put it out unrated. And it cost the movie a lot of money, but over time, I mean, this movie has become a fan favorite. It really does, you know.
It's like I said, I have really been seeing people saying that they prefer the second one over the first one.
I have a lot of fun
recently.
with the second movie. Like, I love the first movie. The first movie, though, is one of those movies where it's a real tough watch. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie, but
it could get,
yeah. And then the second one just goes for, and like I said, like Brian Barth, Toby Hooper thinks of the first one as a comedy too. He thinks of both of them as comedies. He did.
Yeah.
So,
but this one is brutal in its gore. Yeah. And of course, that's one of the reasons that's part of its charm. Because that's where Toby Hooper's like, okay, fine. I made all these fuckers. I'm going to show them how to do it right.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the second movie. It's a great fucking flick, man.
And you get the giant chainsaw in between her legs. He's coming at
we haven't even talked about Stretch yet.
Yeah.
Or fucking, you got Dennis fucking Hopper. Come on. I mean, come on. He kicks ass. Like, just his whole thing where he comes in there to find, you know, to avenge his niece and nephew and shit. And, you know, of course he's got to be the uncle of Franklin and the other girl.
Yeah.
And, you know, of course he's overly religious. So he's, you know, got that, you know. I love his character. I love all the characters in this movie. This movie's so rich with character. Because that's the one thing the first movie's good, but like you don't really get to know the characters all that well before they start getting
because it just happens like you said, when he comes out and knocks that guy over the head and grabs it, it just like all starts happening real fast.
Yeah. Franklin's the only one you really get any like, and he's kind of annoying and then, but like you can see where, you know, you can kind of understand where he's coming from in some of that movie too, being stuck in a wheelchair and being a third wheel through this whole thing. And well, I'm not giving him excuses for being a dickhole, but
yeah,
you know,
it's just because you're in a wheelchair don't mean you gotta be a dick.
But you know, it is what it is. If he wouldn't have went with his sister, he might not have got killed. So there's that too. So like, it's all one of those things. But I just love all the characters, the you know, the whole radio station bit, and you know, like. It feels like a sequel, but it feels so different at the same time. It's so weird because it is. You got the cook, the older brother. He's still in it, and sure, it's not Gunner playing Leatherface, but it's good enough. And of course, you like Chop Top is a great extension of the hitchhiker from the first movie, and it's his own character, while at the same time, like, I didn't even realize that was the history of the character. It's there if you pay attention in the movie, kind of. I mean, it's not that hard to pick up. But
I never even thought about it, to be honest.
But it's like this thing where he just kind of pretends he's still alive. Yeah. And I think because that's where I think he actually has a name, because the older brother grabs him and pulls him down. And he goes, "Come on, let's get out of here." And he's like, "It's just you and me." I can't remember the name he called him. And but then that's when he goes, "Oh, he goes, I think they got I think I burnt my beans." You know, he feels back there and he's got too much blood or whatever. He's like, "Well, at least it cured my hemorrhoids and it saved me money there." I love the cook too. He's just a great character. Nubbins, that's it. Thank you, Doug. Nubbins. So I think Nubbins is his name. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Peter Venkman, that's what we were talking about. No, it is not related, but if Rob Zombie was ever to be screamed for a sequel, it's fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But
the sad part is we lost the big brother and everything by now.
Yeah, we lost all.
But no, this is where you could actually be handing it on to a new generation and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, there's things you could do. Actually, I could come up with a pretty decent script, I bet.
Yeah, better than the Netflix shit that they're even getting a sequel of itself.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. I've heard some people argue that it's anti-woke. I'm like, how is that? I don't know. Some people say it's real woke. But, like, I mean, I kind of like Texas Chainsaw 3D's idea, and especially after talking to Adam and finding out what they wanted to do more. So I'm sure you guys talked to him too when you talked to him. So, like, I was like, oh, fuck, I wish we got that movie instead, because I do like some of the shit that's in it. You know, and I like this idea of, you know, a family, you know, rebuilding the family, the Sawyer family, and all that kind of stuff. So, like, you know, what if you could do a sequel with Rob Zombie directing, and all that's left is like Bubba and Chop Top. And what if they find out that like one of the girls that got away in some unseen sequel or whatever, like, ends up having like either Chop Top or Bubba's kid, so they want to rebuild the family or something like that, or like the whole thing is they're trying to gather girls so that Bubba can have a kid, because they want, you know, you could come up with all kinds of cool shit, and you know, they recruit other people at the same time that are just as crazy as they are or something like that. Who knows? You know, it could be fun.
It could be.
You could build on it. You could find a way to do it, and you don't let Rob Zombie write it. You let him direct it, though.
Yeah, you just let him direct it, and don't, for the love of God, don't cast his wife. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
No. It's just dope. Yeah, it's very prestigious horror. Like Tom said, it was before Halloween and stuff, so it's got that, like, it helped bring about that era of horror movies, and so it's very prestigious.
Like, it is a work of art. It is. The first film is, I mean, almost every shot is so well crafted.
Much like from Summer School, I feel like we're Chainsaw Dave right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not kidding though. You watch
that
me
movie, neither.
Every shot, it's kind of like Halloween in that sense, to where you can tell that these guys knew they were only going to get so much to work on. Like, they thought this through way ahead of time for the most part. And yeah, this was not as planned as Halloween. That was one thing that some of the people complained about, is they didn't anticipate some of this shit. But at the same time, these guys had never really made a movie like this before. But you know, it's Texas Chainsaw 2 is just awesome because it actually got to happen. Tobe Hooper was the one that made it. It's weird that we went that many years without a sequel, considering, I mean, at that time, I mean, that was when Hollywood was falling in love with the sequel, so I can't believe we didn't have, you know, 2 or 3 before that at that point. But I can't recommend this one. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that is very weird that we had to wait like 12 years, but maybe it was because of all like the mafia and all that rights issue crap in between, I guess. But
maybe, I don't know if what they had to do to work that out, if anything, because the sequel, I don't think it has any of those names attached to it. It's just because that's the other weird thing, is the first one has a space between chain and saw. The second one doesn't.
Oh. Interesting. And you know what? The remake here doesn't have a space between the chain and the saw.
First one does.
Yeah, the first one does.
On the movie itself, on the posters, it doesn't. on some of the posters, but on the movie itself, it separates chain and saw, which either way is grammatically correct, technically.
Yes,
But,
and it's even on my steelbook. It's separated on the front there.
Oh, see, interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's kind of a little loophole they got through in some way.
Maybe they did. Maybe because it's.
I'm sure that they paid for the rights, but or whatever.
You never know, because sometimes just changing something like that is, it's different. So.
But I guess Canon was not too happy. They weren't so worried about the unrated part. They were pissed that it wasn't like the first movie as far as scary. Because their first response was, "We need more of the monsters. We want more of the monsters."
Yeah. I love Kanan. I love the Golden Brothers.
Yeah.
But yes, I definitely need to find a way to pick that up before Christmas, before I have to spend all my money, because it's going to be honest with you, it's going to get a little slow on new movies coming in for me.
They did for print. So yeah, I mean, you might be able to be all right. I think they went into heavy production on this one. I doubt they did it too limited.
Maybe I'll get lucky and win the Vinegar Syndrome thing again. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, I forgot you won that. That was awesome. Maybe they're listening. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, hey, if they're listening. But I am entered. They are doing it again, Tom. If you want to do that,
Oh yeah,
they are.
Send me the link.
Yeah, just go to their on Twitter or on Instagram. Just find their post that says reply or retweet this, and you're entered to win.
Oh yeah, they got 10,000. They did of this one, so this is a big one.
Yeah,
they got still over 1,000 left of the limited edition, so you should be fine.
Good.
I don't see that selling out quite yet. It hasn't yet.
Yeah, so I want to get onto that, but maybe I'm waiting till I'm gonna wait till the Black Friday sale though to see what I can get. But yeah, if you guys want to try to win their packets, they have it. If you go to follow Vinegar Syndrome on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they have a post. You find that post that says reply to this post and read and share this post, and you're entered to win either $25 gift card or their entire September or October package. You win that plus a $25 gift card is the one lucky winner will win all that, which I actually won, which I was surprised as hell. I actually won that a year ago. So I'm trying again this year. So if I can get it, but if not, I'm going to buy Texas Chainsaw definitely part 2. And hopefully I'll get the 4K version of part 1 when it comes out. Did we get a date on that one for the US? I don't think we got a date on that one yet.
I don't think so yet. I think January or something like that. It said. I can't remember. I'm not sure on that.
But yeah, I love part 2. I think it's funny. I think it's great. I like what he did with it. I think he got to the point where he was like, because he was like, well, all these movies are out here doing this, and I'm going to go into just do this extreme comedy, gross out like thing. And plus, you got Dennis Hopper and dual wielding chainsaws, like you said, like dueling chainsaws. It's just a fun movie. So I mean, you can't go wrong with it. And I wonder if did they ever put out like part 3 on us? I know they put out part 4 with Matthew McConaughey. I think they did Shout, but did they ever do Leatherface part 3 on it, like a boutique Blu-ray?
Warner Archive put it out.
Warner Archive, so it's not okay.
It's got a few. It's got both versions of the movie on it. It's got some special features on it.
All I remember in that one was Vigo, and it's a little more, Vigo Mortensen.
Yeah. No, it's not one of the better ones, but Robert Burnett worked on it.
Oh, did he? I didn't know that one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it was Robert. It was either Robert or Chris Gore. I can't remember now. I think it was Robert.
Huh. That's cool.
Pretty sure it was Robert.
That I saw that. I saw that William
Next
Butler.
Generation fucking sucks.
Yeah, with Matthew McConaughey. Oof.
What about William Butler?
That's what I was just thinking. He was just posted a picture with him, like a video of him with Viggo Mortensen, and I was thinking, why the hell does William Butler know Viggo Mortensen? I remember he's in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Yep.
Because William Butler, who works for Full Moon, he's a director. He's one of the only people to ever be killed by Leatherface, Jason, and Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
And he's in the Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Living Dead remake. So,
wow.
Yeah.
All right. right. Well.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah,
Hopefully
I'm
good.
definitely good. If you guys want to pick up the part 2 Texas Chainsaw because it sounds really good. So, well, it is really good, but like the details of the 4K and everything sound really good. And I'm really
Yeah, as
glad they
far as I can
transferred
tell.
over the Shout Factory stuff because I didn't. They usually don't happen.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, all of it's here. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Even the 85-minute or 80-minute documentary or whatever's here. I think they even have some more deleted scenes here than they had in the Shout Factory release, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong.
Nice.
I'm not sure all these trailers were on the Shout Factory release either, but again, I could be wrong.
Good night, Brian Barth. I hope to see you next weekend. We'll probably be closing it down now.
Yeah, all I really cross-referenced was the featurettes and shit, so.
Still sucks we didn't get no Bill Moseley interviews on that, though. New ones.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but I mean, he's on some of the older stuff, but
yeah,
it would have been nice to get some new stuff out of him too. Yeah, sounds like it was just a miscommunications through people, so it happens. That's why I hate dealing with handlers when it comes to that shit.
Yeah, it sucks. Dan
Blackberry I thought it was Robert who was talking about it. Yeah.
There you go. But yeah, I dig the picks tonight. I hope you guys liked our conversation. We had a little bit of Halloween movies left over that we talked about.
I got two Schwarzenegger movies this week. I'll tell you what, Raw Deal and Running Man. So
there you go. We're
gonna switch gears here pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, technically, I'll probably still have horror because
that's kind of why I have so many. I would have saved some of these, but these are all kind of horror Halloween related. So
me too.
Well
other than Top Gun.
Yeah, well, and Shock Treatment, but that's a sequel to Rocky Horror, so that was the whole reason to watch it, and blah, 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 blah. But yeah.
Makes sense. But
it's not really the most Halloween-y of movies.
But hey, but it flows, right? Once you get into you got to watch the Rocky Horror, then you go, hey, I want to watch Shock Treatment.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah. I get you. I feel that. I do that too. But thank you.
I almost jumped right into Leatherface 3, but I'm like, no, I got to go to bed. So.
I was almost jumped into like Return of the Living Dead Part 3 myself, and I was just like,
I almost watched that last week, and and then I mean, I didn't even really watch. I started watching Halloween 2, but I didn't finish it. I didn't get to watch Halloween 3 this year. I'm kind of pissy. It's like the first year in a while I haven't got a chance to watch. I just didn't get a chance to with all these new releases and shit. I was like,
I feel that. I'm a little pissy because I know you don't like it as much as I do, but like Part 4. 1, 2, and 4 are my favorite Halloween movie. 1, 2, 4, H2O are my favorite Halloween movies, and I didn't get Part 4 on 4K, and I'm a little pissy I didn't get that to watch it because my Shout Factory order still hasn't here yet.
Sucks.
Yeah. So
no, I watched 4 last year, if you remember. So like that was the thing is I watched 5, 6, and then we had Halloween Ends after I watched Halloween Kills again, and that really killed my Halloween momentum.
Yeah.
So I was like, because I was thinking about watching H2O and Resurrection too, and I'm like, I just really it was only just so I could watch a Halloween movie, and it was like, do I really want to watch Halloween 3? Do I want to watch H2O? But at that time, I hadn't watched a ton of movies yet.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, and since I'll probably do Rocky Horror and whatever, because I hadn't watched the Texas Chainsaw movies yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't necessarily planning on that, but like it just I got. After watching H2, I'm like, I'm Halloweened out after Halloween. I was going to watch 3, but I'm like, no, fuck it.
Yeah, Halloween Ends kind of killed my vibe, too.
It did. It really killed my momentum for it.
It did.
I'd rather just watch
I was kind of excited. I was like, I want to see it, and I'm going to watch Part 4, and I'm going to watch Part 3. And then I was kind of like, I just don't want to watch Halloween anymore.
Yeah, sadly, it was just kind of like...
Yeah. But I appreciate you, Tom. Thank you for coming on. Thank you, Runner, for always coming on as well. It's a good show.
It's always fun.
Yeah, it's a great time. I like talking physical media with you guys and showing off our picks. And help to everybody in the chat for hanging with us and staying this long.
Sorry, I've been yawning so much. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. I've been yawning a little bit myself, but it happens. But thank you to everybody in the chat, everybody watching. We will see you guys next week. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
How you doing? Bitches leave.